Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another broadcast of the American Ricci Mahjong League. Nathaniel here, joined by Steve. How's it going, Steve?
Very good, thanks.
I imagine so after some thrilling Mahjong and your recent successes, I probably have you feeling pretty good about your position right now.
Yeah, it's comfortable. There's a lot of games left, so I know full well that exactly what I did to everyone else at that table, they can turn around and do to me. Well, not them specifically, unless we play in the sixth round,
That's
but
true.
any upcoming opponent could do the same thing to me. So I still have to be on my toes.
Well, I imagine Edwin is feeling the same way. Had just had a big victory in the last game of this series. They played a couple, or rather three, before we got here, and they're in game number 4 right now. It is Clinton, who was our first dealer, Edwin to the right across the table, Lynn, and to the left it's Patrick. And, well, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm just getting a gauge on everyone's names here as well, but I'm seeing pretty good starting dealer hand here. Tanya is possible. We have a pawn across the way already. It looks like a Honitsu push from Lynn. And then on the right, we have kind of like a Pintu like shape. There's a couple conchons that need to fill. That's a great draw. And then looks like the on the right we have also similar Tanyao, possible three-sided weight in the Manzu. So everyone's moving along nicely.
It'll be interesting to see how Clinton's hand turns out. It kind of has the feel of wanting to be Tanyao, but now that you've drawn this 8-9 penchant and the Dora is the 1 so, it's a little bit awkward. We'll see if it just turns out to be Ricci Dora. And even this 9 pin draw is a little awkward. It shores up the 8-9 shape, but now you're locked into bad shapes.
I think looks like Lynn is just trying to go for a toy, but the 8 so drop earlier is really unusual.
Yeah, perhaps not 100% committed to the Honitsu just yet. I'm sure the rest of the table will be pausing if the 8 so does come out of Edwin's hand and does get called by Lynn. Wait a second, you didn't need that earlier. Looks like Edwin's found Ishan 10, but Ricci from the dealer. Ricci Dora 1 waiting on the 3 so.
A little tricky here with the 4 so drops. Dora is Suji, but you don't want to throw it against the dealer, and the 3 is on the outside of those. Well,
Just
never
sumo.
mind, just draw it.
On the Ipatsu turn as well, so this is going to be a Mangan. With the Ura as well, still Mangan. So 4,000 all, plus the Ricci stick, and a great start for Clinton. Still at least one, repeat one, but 42,000 already, and a reasonable starting hand here.
And around the table, we have a lot of end tiles for Edwin. Lin is looking like another Honitsu, just in Manzu this time, which is the Dora suit, so that'll look pretty threatening. And then we have Tushan 10 for Patrick.
Yeah, it really feels like Lin is going to commit to it this time with the double Yakuhai pair, and the Honitsu is already Mangan even without the Dora. And Edwin has some of these Manzu tiles to discard. That one Mon not looking very happy in that hand might come out eventually.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether we're seeing kind of the long chance Kokushi attempt here from Edwin or not, just based on the first drops. Looks like hedging Honitsu as well.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty standard way of playing a hand that's has so many of those.
That is an amazing
tiles.
draw for Clinton, and that's Pinhu with a Takame of Sanshogu and Tanyao.
Oh, that's the best possible draw, I guess. Even if you paired up the Haku, you lose the Pin Food, you lose the Tanyao chance.
This is a really sad. I mean, you're the dealer, so you'll take it, but on a 1, it's a really sad win.
Absolutely. Well, all four
losing 3 Han in value is pretty rough.
Yeah, all 4 of the 4 pin are in the wall, so this could be a massive sumo. And we can see that there's a 1 pin to the left in Patrick's hand. Oh, and it will come out. It does get called, so Ricci Pinfu. Only
They
2,900.
do say by reaching a hand like this, you're the dealer. You want the continuance. You're committed to taking the one pin if it drops. If you really want the four, you just Dama the Mangan. But it's Tenpai so early. There's not really a wrong answer there. I think.
Yeah, is there? I'm trying to think if there's any world where you wouldn't just take the Ricci, and maybe
I
different
mean, as
playstyle
dealer,
would.
you want to shut down your opponents. I mean, it's perfectly normal.
Yeah,
I've
well,
already quickly glanced around the table here. It looks like Lin is the closest to Tenpai, but Patrick has the interesting Ton Anko to start with, and Astora.
yeah, that makes it extremely interesting. Built-in Mongon for Patrick. Should he be able to complete the hand, I imagine he'll be willing to call anything here to move the hand along.
Yeah, I would be willing to pawn away my only pair
Yeah,
just to get into Tenpai.
the second pair is found by Patrick. Edwin makes the call of the 1-2-3. Looks to be moving towards perhaps a Chanta or just the Yakuhai Hatsu. Still leaves the option for both. The dealer technically
It's interesting
in here as well.
when you already have the Yakuhai in this situation and you don't have a pair. It's like you thinking to yourself, okay, if I draw a tone, I can just wait on it.
Mm-hmm. This is an interesting spot. But let's just like the efficiency over a speculative Chanta here. It's just an extra Han. And you can't see into the Adora, so...
Now, it looks like a Honitsu, though, to everyone else, but it's gonna... If you don't get the 8 so here, you really struggle from having that, like, oh, this looks like a flush. Nobody's gonna deal your tiles.
When we see
But it's
Lin...
not even a flush.
Khan certainly makes things spicy. Lin across the table had not declared Ricci on just a 4-mon Kanchan. Even after the Khan declines to take the Ricci there. Patrick continues to draw pairs and does not get tiles that he's able to call from Lin.
But I think Patrick might have saved himself there with the 6. Because now the 4 is not going to come out and deal into the Dama. Well, actually, that's Yakulis, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was a Tanyao, but there's a 9 in it.
Yes, perhaps Lin hoping to draw the 2-mon and get potential Sanshoku and Pinshu upgrades. And, well, there it is. Now we see the Ricci. 1-4 is the weight.
4 gives Sanshoku again in this hand. No Tanyao this time. You've already established that.
Yes, and, well, with 2 Ura chances now, it's even more likely that you'll see it come out. But there's the 7, and that does not deal in.
Yep, there's no Yaku.
Clinton did break the Ipatsu, I believe, with the call. Or no, that came out before the Ricci, so...
Edwin takes the Hadaka and shifts the cheap side to Lin and gets Ura for 1326.
Yeah, you're feeling sort of perhaps a little conflicted after that. You're like, well, at least I didn't draw it and deal in, but you did allow the other player to Tsumo, and so it is Lin who makes it over 30k again, and it is Edwin's dealership.
Edwin's got some great shapes to start with. It is 4 pairs, but we have the Ipeiko, like pseudo, like proto Ipeiko going on here. And then around the table, the Lin's hand looks to be a little slow. Patrick has pairs of Tone and Shun, which should make for a fast hand if he chooses to call. And on the, it looks like everyone loves a 2-3-4 Sanshogu today. I don't know what it is about those numbers particular, but there's definitely a chance for it in Clinton's hand.
Yeah, the draw's working out that way. Ooh, even an Ipeiko chance now. This could be quite interesting. Now, with the 6 so draw, Edwin would love to incorporate the door here and might think about dropping one of the pairs for Tanyao. Also, this tune doesn't really fit the hand. Oh, interesting. So the 4-pin, I suspect you're still thinking about Chitoi a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. I think it would have been totally fine to just get rid of the Chun as well in this case.
Yeah, having watched Edwin play a little bit, I think he likes to hold on to honor tiles a little bit longer than
The only reason is that the tune doesn't do anything for you if you draw a 5. If you
Right.
draw the Dora, where are you going with this?
Ooh, this is a sneaky tempai from Patrick. East Dora 2 can win on the Dora or the tune, so will be a Mongon on either way. And you can Dama this as well. So this is actually big danger for Edwin.
Clinton can call into Tenpai here for Tanya Dora. Chooses the 3-6 weight over the 3-4 weight, and there's the
So that will be Mongon for Patrick, who climbs up to 29,000. As we move to East 3, it's Lynn's dealership.
Now, this is a great starting hand for Lynn. I mean, other than the 2 floater tiles, everything's closely knitted together. You have potential for Nobetan. There's a Dora. So going well around the table. On the right, we have similarly fast shapes a little bit farther away, or it's got the 2 pairs kind of holding it back a bit. It's an excellent draw for Lynn. And then another possible 2-3 Sanchoku and Clinton Sand. I don't know. I'm just seeing Sanchokus everywhere, and they're all 2-3-4 today. And Edwin has the pair of Pei, which is the Yakuhai in this case, and just some kind of a couple clunky shapes and a couple floaters that need to be worked out. But we'll see what everyone draws.
Yeah, the Edwin with a very distant chance that the 2-3-4 Sanchoku as well, but denies it with the 2-so draw. Discard, sorry.
Edwin also declined to call the Pei, so Love is looking for a little more value here.
Yeah, after feeding 8,000, you want to get that back a little bit faster, and Pei no Mi really isn't the way to do that. Ooh, a Dora draw. A second one.
Couple options here. That's definitely one of them. The other one, if you really want to be callable, is to cut the 9-so, because then it's just going to be Tanyao, but you still have to deal with the Atazuke, and there's still 2 9-pins floating around.
Yeah, but Pretty Shanten isn't bad. This is very sneaky now. I kind of would have liked to see a Katagiri of the 4 on there. Ooh. So once again, we see...
As long as you're keeping the 9-so in there to try to use that somehow, you don't really need... Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, seeking a little bit more values realizes that you're not really going to be able to use the Dora 8 mod, so trying to con into a different type of Dora, but unfortunately it does not reveal anything useful. And it has 2 save tiles should someone declare Ricci.
Yes, I think before going back a couple turns, keeping the 4, even if you throw in the 5, is all right, because it does allow you to palm the Dora if it comes out and then cut into a pair.
Oh, that's a really good point. You still have Tanya.
Even if you're not cutting, I mean, Tanya is not easy to get because it's Atazuke, but if you're the dealer and you have Dora 3 showing, like,
exactly,
everyone must tread carefully.
Clinton across the table, Ishanten for that 2-3-4 Sanchoku needs a 2 in the Pinzu and the Sozu.
6 comes out. I wonder whether it will be called. Oh, not yet. So I think if I was Lynn here, I would accept any 6-pin just to get to Tenpai.
This 9-so not particularly useful. And Edwin refusing to discard that 6-pin. Oh, even dropping a 5-so over it. Perhaps realizing it's dangerous.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say the 7 is a good opportunity to try to change it up, so you're not going to necessarily be Atazuke, but the 7-pin is dead other than the 2 in the hand.
And that's Tenpai for Clinton. At this late, decides not to reach the 2-5-pin weight. Also, there's 1 tile left, so perhaps a good choice.
The Tenpai is taking Dama for Pin Dora 2, Tanya Takame.
Oh, and this is where Edwin could be in trouble again.
Gee.
It looks like that's going to be 12,000.
So another Dama Mangan. Lin this time snatching the lead away from Clinton. Also very interesting high pie.
This is very fast if you don't want to get anything more than tune out of it, because you just call a couple things and be waiting 2-5 so if lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Around the table, Patrick has this nice Manzu shape that could possibly lead to an Ipeco or just two sequences. And the rest of it's a little bit clunky. Across the table, we've got a couple shapes, except the Dora. It's going to be slow though, so you have to have some good draws to make that work. And Edwin has pretty good shape and pin now, and everything else is pretty much set. Again, there's a distance 2-3-4 Sanchoku to be had here if you draw the right tiles.
Yeah, and also distant Itsu if you can draw the right tiles in the pin. Oh, shows the 2 back. And once again, we see that Shun being held. Yeah, none of the other hands look
I'm
spectacular.
not really a fan of the Yaku High tile lockdown when your shapes are that good.
Mm.
Because you have Adora, you have value, it could be Tanyao, it could be any number of things, so...
Well, as the 7 so is drawn and upgrades the 8 so pair, Chun does come out. Lin does call Ishanten now. Just the Chun currently. Oh, that's a nice draw. So Patrick getting a little bit close as well. Could end up drawing around the Manzu shape and getting Ipeco there. And drop the West pair for Tanyao as well. Instead chooses to strengthen the So shape, so Ishanten here. Another Dora draw for Edwin is very nice. Ishanten there as well. Tanyao Dora 2.
Kang.
Well, this is a way to get value. Kan into Tempai. Now, the new Dora is the Hatsu. We can see that those have been discarded. So that isn't going to change the value here, but that's a ton of Fu
Chi.
for, what is it, Chunomi. And
No.
Chuso comes out. Will deal in.
2,900, 160.
1 in 60. All right,
And
well.
I thought I was going to have to score a 1 in 70 there. It's
Right.
3,400. Most people don't remember that because it's so rare.
I definitely do not. All right, I wonder how Honitsu this hand is for dealer.
I feel like you really need to see an honor pair up here, and preferably the tone, so you actually have some value. But you can always just commit to it being a flush and then scare the table with the Chinitsu.
Yeah, and unfortunately the tone has been twice cut, so now it leaves Lin's hand, and also Lin leaving the opportunity for a non-Honitsu here. Patrick could call this.
Home.
Debating it. I mean,
It
you have
does.
the Dora, but the Dora is very hard to use in this hand. The flip side is if you take Hatsunomi and you're over 30k again. I know, like, jockeying to be over 30k, like, making your priority just being over 30k every hand in East is probably not the best choice you could make because you can make value-added decisions. That is Tempai.
Yeah.
Takes it.
Would have been interesting to see 8-mon, 8-mon cut, maybe try to win Doratanki, but this is the straightforward way.
Well, 8-mon could also just get you back into Tenpai on and with a Honitsu as well, depending on if you're weight improved.
Yeah, that's a good point
Like
as well.
godly draws would be like a 2-pin, 5-pin or something. I know there's not very many available, but then you could be 2-5-8 San Menton, which is phenomenal for that. But trying to take the 1,000 is fine. Actually, it would be 1,300 here with the Fu.
Ooh,
We have
Kan.
a chance for a 5-6-7 Sanchoku.
Oh, finally a new Sanshuk, a non-2-3-4.
Yes.
The 2-3-4 is across the table, but the 5 would deal in. Should you draw the 2? It feels like it's just a matter of time before Patrick gets the win. But currently, the 2s and 5s pretty well locked away in hand. Now, should you draw a second one, that's when we might see the deal in.
We're We're looking at what, a 3-tile weight based on what's held? Yep,
Yes.
5 tiles held and 3 in the wall.
This is would have been maybe a slight upgrade, but Clinton likes the pairs here. So that would have been Tempai on a 5, so discard. But this way we still have Ishanten and waiting for a tune to come out. Now here's a 2-pin, but that actually helps Lin out a bunch. This hand Ishanten now.
It's not 10 pi, but if you choose, depending on what you choose to get rid of, yep. Now this is just
Need the
pretty
5.
wide
Yeah.
here.
Boom.
Think, yeah. So Clinton decides to drop the tune pair, go for Tanya instead. Oh, now this is incredibly wide.
No, this is yeah, it's still Ishantan, right? Yep.
Yep.
Doesn't have a pair yet. The unfortunate part is if you start to boil down those 2s into a pair, you end up dealing in.
Fortunately, most ways of getting Tempai, you have an alternate pair, I think.
There is an alternate option. I don't know whether Lin will pick it. Oh, there's the last 2. Does not come out. Okay, here's Tempai. It's I think it's how can you turn down the 369 weight?
Eats.
Thinking, reaching, and takes the
Boom.
369. But that does deal in. And so it is Patrick making it over 30k as we move to East 4, Patrick's dealership. Hopes to continue that momentum. And wow, this is a great starting hand. No 2-3-4 Sanshoku like we've seen elsewhere, but Dianshanten already for likely a Pinfu. Okay, maybe less likely, but Ishanten now.
The interesting weight on that last hand, and viewers can go back and look at it if they want, is that if you cut the 8-pin there, I was just doing a little math in my head on it, it was actually a 3-4-7 weight. So you still could get a San Menchan, just in a really weird way. It's like no Beton next to the triplet.
Yeah, I was thinking there had to be a way to wait on that 3 without
There
discarding
was.
the 2.
It took me a little bit of mental. There's Ricci already.
So Patrick just held to the metal here. 4-7
there were
for
a lot
Ricci,
of
no win.
a lot of ways on that hand to wait without holding the 2, but that was the only one that was close, the 8. And you're giving up the Ipeco shape, so it's not very intuitive.
It looks like there are 3 tiles left in the wall.
I'm looking around to see who's inclined to fight. We have Clinton might be with the Itsu chance, especially with a 6 so draw.
Yeah, and a
with
door in
three-sided
hand.
weight.
Of course, Edwin in 4th currently.
Angela's got the 2-3-4 Sanshoku.
Certainly has incentive to fight there. Ishanten as well. Oh, draws to Tempai, not the 2, but throws the stick in, as you would expect.
Still Tanyao, so still value added. Ricci +1, good weight.
Unfortunately,
Not so good with the hand. Many
Right.
are held.
But you can't know that. Oh, and there's another one.
There's one. No,
I think they're dead.
That's the deal. And yeah, that was completely dead. There's only one tile left when he reached, and it was drawn right away and held.
Yeah. Can't know that, of course, and fortunately not an expensive deal in. That moves Patrick closer to 2nd place, and we'll get another shot at things.
Got what do we got here? A 4-pair start, 3-pair start, but the shapes are good.
Boom.
One many Rian men, so already have a pawn from Clinton. This looks like it could be a push for Toy Toy, but it does need another pair really to just. That's an amazing draw. I can't get around the table where somebody draws something spicy.
Yeah, and also has the Dora Chun, so it might just be like a Tone Dora Tonki type situation.
Yeah, it is a little bit easier.
But
My
dealer's
gosh.
draws have been insane. Ishanten already for Ricci Pintu Tanyao. The only way they could be better is if Patrick somehow works essentially like a 5-6-7 Sanchoku.
Or you
Or
basically draw
Ipeko.
the 4. You draw the 4 so now, and then you shift the whole sequence.
Right.
Just throws the Chun, no care in the world. I mean, it's at least Ricci +1. Tan Pin is on the line too, so at +2 when you get Tenpai. You don't
Yeah.
really need the Dora here.
Yeah, if you're gonna throw it, probably sooner is better than later. But yeah, that Toy, as you're saying, kind of becoming realistic in Clinton's hand. And after that first tune, we haven't seen another one discarded.
It's
Each.
Tenpai, and no need to wait for a Sanchoku here.
Throws the stick in, Ricci, Pinshu, Tanyao.
Now this Toy is unwinnable. Because of that 7 draw.
Yeah, Clinton recognizes it and starts to shift.
Interesting to still hold the Chun, though, because it is Genbutsu.
Perhaps thinking, if I can pair up the tune, then I might have something that's worth fighting for, and I have Genbutsu elsewhere.
Edwin is Jama on Genbutsu. That's Pinhu no Mi.
Given you're in 4th place, would you prefer a Ricci here, or do you think Dama's fine?
And it's hard to fight the dealer. So I think
ロン
here's the dealer. So he's going to take the points and run into the next hand.
Perhaps a little less likely that 2 would
It's
come
one of
out.
those things where it would be less likely that it comes out, but at the same time, I mean, you're left asking the question, like, do I still fold to the dealer? If I can only fold to one person, do I still fold to the dealer because of the dealer? Or do I fold to the chasing Ricci because they chose to do so?
Right.
And there's not really an answer to that. Usually, like, the chasing Ricci has to have some good value. Otherwise, because it's scary to everyone else when that happens. So we got South 1. Clinton is starting with a pair of Dora. The rest of the shapes are all on the edge, so interesting. See where it goes. Edwin made a double South pair right early in the match.
It's a potential
The other
value
shapes
there.
are, the values there. You got the Dora acceptance, but the rest of the hand is really quite slow. Across the way, it's Tushanten. Is it Tushanten? I think so, yes. It's a rather awkward Tushanten.
That
It's
helps.
gotten more interesting now. I don't think we'll see a con at any point from this hand, but it's making that 4-5 so in Patrick's hand look really weak.
Yeah. With 6 of the tiles being taken up in hand, like usually the maximum you see is 5.
See Clinton here not really worrying about Itsu chances or anything with the Dora pair. Doesn't want to drop the extra Dora.
Interesting not choosing to retain the 7-9 soul block. You do need one more shape. And there we go. Ricci on the 3-pin. Ricci Tanyao.
Ricci Tanya with a spicy Ura 4 chance.
5 so is in the wall. There are 2 that could be the Ura indicator. Edwin fights a little bit with the South call. Ishantem. Tenpai now would be double South with a stick.
Edwin is now Tenpai 9 so Tonki.
All the 9 so that are remaining to be won on are in Patrick's hand. That's a pair of them.
It is a Genbutsu at this point, so I can't see Edwin not changing to a Dora Tonki, though. First of all, you don't want to throw it against the reach. Oh, he just decided to stop.
It seems to be a bit suspicious of that 9, so perhaps.
kind of unsurprising because of how much you don't see upper end of Sozu looking at this board.
And Clinton with the Dora. Unwilling to fight with, say, a 7, so 8 so there. Or 8 mon, 8 mon. Oh.
The 2-5-8 pair weight. I think you kind of have to fight for. We're back on the 9 again.
Side the 2 is a little bit safer. Yeah, upper so is kind of light in terms of discards. 7 is at least Suji. And as long as Patrick doesn't discard the 9 here, we will end safely, and we do. So Ryukyoku, Edwin, and Lin find the 1500. There is a Ricci stick in the middle for the next round, and it will be Edwin's dealership.
Well, Edwin starts with non-pair and a couple pairs of 3s with adjacent tiles, so it looks like it could be pretty fast. On the right, we have just a couple round men shapes and a couple pairs. Nothing yet. We'll see how long that south sticks around because it is double south. Across the way, that looks actually even slower than the other hands. There's one sequence built and then a couple of penchant. And it looks Clinton definitely has the fastest hand by a long stretch. Got the pay pair, which you can call Adora in hand, and just great shapes all around.
Absolutely.
Also, Ishanten for an Ipeiko as well.
Yeah, Clinton started with a good high pie and only drew better after that. Had drawn 2 consecutive useful tiles, and then sitting pretty at Ishantem. Four mod seems like an early committal to the
Calling, yeah.
3 mod pair.
I was immediately saw the 3-4-5 Sanshoku when the third block came in, and it's not going to happen. And it makes using Dora a challenge as well, because if you draw a 5, what are you going to do with it?
Well, that's a nice pickup for Lin on the right. That secures the Dora usage. And playing maximum blocks here, retaining the 7-9 pin block and the 1-3 1-3 mon shape as well. What upgrades that mon shape
now
as well.
Now you don't have to. You have all good blocks. It's just still 6 blocks.
Boom.
And there we see Tempai for Clinton, calls the pay, waits for 7 mon for pay Dora 1.
Like Edwin's hedging Chitoi here with the option to call if the Yakuhai come out.
Did manage to find a 5th pair, so this is technically Chitoi Ishantem. Oh, but the 4
Dong.
will deal in. And so that's 2,000 for Clinton, and Clinton now moving a little closer and closer to that second place spot as we enter South 3.
Pretty scrappy fight for first here, and Patrick is still over 30k as well and would like to stay that way.
Might incentivize some speedier hands, perhaps.
Yeah, well, looking around the table, Lin has Chun pair, Sha pair. It does not look to be particularly fast unless you can call, and Chun's really the only callable tile. Unless you're going to card to commit for a Toy. Patrick has an Itsu skeleton in Pinzu, and the rest of the shapes are not great. Across the way, there are a lot of pairs looking around this table, and we'll see if it becomes a Toitsuba or not, but 4 pairs now across, and Edwin having 2 pairs and an Anko. And all the time it took me to say that, Lin has called twice.
Yeah, it did call the West, and did manage to find the last tune early on, so now has the Yakuhai necessary to win the hand, and could even turn this into a Toy in the future as well. Clinton trying to speed things up as well, but Lin has found the Tempai first, waiting on the 2-so and 3-pin.
None of these tiles are loose in anyone's hand. All 4 are alive. Has a good draw, but what do you cut? I mean, you want to be able to pawn. You want to try to chi.
It needs the Haku here, the last Haku.
Hmm.
Oh, this is...
I think I would have preferred to just be able to pawn, so you could still go for Toy Toy.
Mm.
Just because you don't know if that Haku is going to come out.
Well, interesting move from Patrick. Had Tenpai Kanchan on the 7, so declined to take the Ricci.
Kan.
Instead, is hoping to be able to use the Dora in some fashion. And, well, this is a way to make that happen.
Ich.
Now
That
throws
can
the
be
stick out
Tenpai
there.
out Penchan, yeah.
So
So
reach,
from Kanchan 7 so to Penchan 7 Mon.
and it's Ricci Dora 2, with the Khan revealing the 5 pin to be Dora.
Sumo.
But the Yakuhai only ends it all. The Khan does give you a little bit more food. So 150 for Lin on that Sumo. Increases the lead a bit, knocks Patrick down below 30k. And we'll continue in South 3.
Lin has Dora Acceptance, Ryanmen completed shapes, possible 7, 8, 9 Sanchoku's the closest Sanchoku here. It's still pretty far away. Patrick has a few just shapes as well. It's a little bit far. Across the way we have the Manzu Itsu, just 2 tiles short, and then needs a pair. And Edwin is holding a Anko of the Dora.
That'll be an interesting hand to try to pull off with all the pairs. And just drawing more of them, so... Perhaps thinking Sananko Toy Toy?
Toy Toy, yeah,
Yeah.
just read the Toy Toy. Toy Toy, taking just Toy Toy Dora 3 here is a little bit hard if you want to get out of last at this current score situation, but if you made a direct hit on Patrick, for example, here you'd go up to 10. You'd go up to 10k. Patrick would fall down to like 21k, get the final dealership, and you'd be within 12,000. So a Mangan Sumo would save you from last. That's about the only, without making a bigger hand, is about the only way to do it. And there's even another pair. So now it's Chitoy Ishan 10.
Yeah, and unfortunately the 9-so are discarded already, so cannot call upon them there. Might be thinking about Chitoy as a result. But if you go for Chitoy, even though you're losing a Dora, there's a path to Hanemon there.
Or Baimon, even if you sumo and hit Ura, because you already have Dora.
Exactly. Well, looking back at Lin's hand, now there's the potential 7-8-9 Sancho. I wonder if the 4-5 will come out. No, with so many of the upper So tiles being discarded, Lin chooses to drop the 7-8 So instead. Edwin now holding on to a safe tile that Hatsu will not make a pair.
Yes, I did not see the third one because I did not see Patrick's very first discard. So yes, definitely holding onto a safe tile.
And, well, safety might be needed soon. There are a couple hands that are getting close.
Yeah, Clinton still doesn't have a pair after all this time.
Oh, there's another Anko, so...
Suanko Ishan 10 for Edwin.
Okay, 1 So, 3 So are the two that I haven't checked yet. Sorry, 3 Mon.
3 Mon is there's 1 left, and the 1 So are both in the wall.
Ooh, so there's definitely a possibility here. 26 draws remaining. I imagine, should one of those tiles come out, you still call it, right?
With Dora 3, I think you have to, especially because you know you can't call the 9 anymore.
You do have a chance at drawing the last your last set for Sananko as well, even if you do call. So I think that's...
And Toy Toy San on Dora 3 then is Hanemon, yeah.
Exactly.
Sets you up very well for the next round.
Well, finally a pair drawn by Clinton. So this is Ishan-ten for Pinfu.
Yeah, because of the Manzu pair up losing the Itsu chance there. There's the one So's needed, and it's Tenpai.
It's 4-7 here. Safe tile comes out. And you have to pass a 6 pin, which doesn't look incredibly safe, but Manzu looks more dangerous here. A bunch of pairs in Patrick's hand as well. Could make a call here for K10. with 14 draws left, if you, 7 pin is Genbutsu if you do choose to make that play. Instead, lets it pass. Still one of the one one of the 3 Mon in the wall. You need the last of both if you're Edwin.
With 2 draws left, just need to draw both of them.
Boom.
Oh no!
Still
Oh
2
no,
draws
that would
left.
have been it! That would have been
Oh,
Tenpai!
it would have been oh jeez. Oh, he still got the pawn. Still forces the 6 pin through. Lin could have called there for K10. Did not happen. So there's just one so left now.
One draw remains after this discard, and is not there. Oh, that was so sad. But it probably would have been more sad if you drawn into Suanko Tenpai and then didn't win. Your final tile being the dead well. So, once again, Ryukyoku, this time it's Clinton and Edwin who find the 1500. We'll move forward once again.
It's good for Edwin that he didn't lose any more points there, but it's still, this is a really rough score situation here. I think you just need to, if I'm Edwin here, I'm just trying to like take some points back now.
Yeah, there is a stick in the pot, 2 Honba. So you'll get an extra 1600 on whatever you win. Patrick, though...
Because the score difference is what? Can you mouse over the middle so I don't have to math?
I can.
To a 24/7. Okay, buy Monsumo for the dealer will get you out of because it would not be enough, but the stick in the pot and the Honba makes the buy Monsumo enough to eke out 3rd place for Edwin.
Yeah, so a little bit far to get realistically.
Yep.
Yeah, Patrick has some incentive to win this, to get over 30k in your last dealership and make a play for 1st or 2nd. Drop the Dora on the first discard.
Literally win anything here.
Yeah.
The stick in the middle and be over 30k if you're Patrick.
Of course, you want to earn a little bit more because in the following dealership, someone could sumo you right back down. So, unfortunately, it doesn't have a perfect hand. It looks like perhaps Lin on the left has a better one. Oh, that could use a little bit of work too, but the shapes are reasonable.
With a hand like Lin's, it just depends on what tiles come in when you choose to strengthen and weaken certain blocks as things hook onto them. Because if you cut the 2 pin early enough, the 1 pin comes out. If you cut it too late, it doesn't. If you choose a Shabo, I mean, you can try to maneuver around. You just need another shape to get away from Shabo. There's 2 pairs in this hand right now, so it's a foregone conclusion unless you pick up, say, 4 pin, 6 pin, something like that.
Yeah. If you draw the 3 pin, you don't have to worry about that. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, 3 Mon does the same thing. You could lock the 1 pin pair at that point, or even just cut the 5 pin out of the hand. By saying Patrick here, choose to cut the Kanchan, possibly looking for the Sanshoku.
I guess there is a route to Sanshoku for sure.
Yeah, 789 Sanshoku is just Tenpai if you draw the 9 pin. That is not the Tenpai you want here for the value, but still goes for it anyway.
Yeah, we are heading to the end of the 2nd row, so wants to put the pressure on.
You want to try to scare your opponents off. I mean, fighting the dealer is scary here. If the dealer hits an Ura.
Another 6 so drawn by Clinton. Oh, it just comes out.
Clinton had that 2-3-4 Sanshoku going on in the hand again, so.
Well, no Ura, but that is enough to move Patrick over 30k, or rather, all the way up to 32. So a small sumo isn't going to be enough to knock you down. And, ooh, I'm liking this start.
Yeah, I picked up the Dora on the first draw and made a Ryanman shape, so it's already like ready-made Pinfu if you consider the 3-4-4-4 2 shapes, basically.
Yeah, the 4 Mon is your pair. Still retaining the 7, perhaps hoping for some type of Sanshoku up there. And it looks like a Honitsu to the right, perhaps. Clinton is about Mongon away.
It does have the value. It's Mongon. Mongon is enough to take first here because of the Honba.
And that's double south as well, so you can even
so
open
literally
up here.
Mongon. And that looks like a hard commit to the Honitsu there with cutting the pair. Interesting thing is that most likely Patrick will have to overflow a couple of these Manzu tiles to maintain the Ryanmen in hand, and Patrick will, Clinton will definitely be calling the 7 Mon, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Would be extremely unfortunate for Clinton if Patrick were to draw the third 7. Okay, we'll see now if we call here. That is a pair in the hand, but...
I think you just need to advance.
Yeah,
you committed so hard on the 3-so drop, just go.
Pairs are fairly easy to find compared to other shapes, rather.
In this case, the West Tonki is once cut. It doesn't really make it any stronger for anybody with a lot of incentive to fold. Will we see Khan?
Khan for an extra draw? I guess you're replacing your draw.
Yeah, you don't really get an extra draw or not. But, oh, there it is.
All right, Haku is revealed to be Dora. Once discarded, once in Edwin's hand.
Edwin probably did not want to see that Shun up there, so it makes it even harder to call it. Oh, this is awkward. Oh, yep, choosing to get rid of the Dora Ryanmen here. It's interesting. Or maybe just trying to be 7 pairs.
Home.
It's like exactly what we thought, what we said we didn't. Clinton wouldn't want to happen here is kind of playing out with Patrick just drawing so many of the Manzu that he's keeping all of them.
He's making Shinitsu. Who thought that Patrick, at the start of this hand, who thought that Patrick was the one who's going to make Shinitsu? So Clinton needs the last 7 and then another 4 Mon for Tenpai or to win. And it's Lin who's declared Ricci on the left. Would be... Oh, 6 is gone, so no Ipeko. Oh, 3 is also gone.
Interesting situation if you're Patrick here, because if you fold, you end up losing points. But as long as all 3 of them aren't Tenpai, you stay above 30k. That's kind of like gauge what the table is trying to do.
Yeah, this is an extremely interesting Ricci.
Oh, I think you call him that and just cut the 5. Oh, there it goes.
So now Patrick can win on the final 7, as well as the 4.
4 and the 7. I think that's all it is. I keep looking at it like it's got to be more, right? But no, it's not.
Only that 1 7 in the wall. And where are the 3 Mon? Does Clinton even have a chance at winning now? I guess there's... Yeah, the 3 Mon are all gone.
So... Oh my gosh, Edwin's got all the dragons that are left in the game, I think.
Yeah, the Haku are gone. Hatsu... both gone. So it's a fight for
7.
Tenpai.
That's Tenpai. He drew the last 7 for Tenpai, waiting 3 Montanki. Is there one left? No.
There's not.
So the Chinitsu is dead. The Honitsu is dead. The Ricci didn't win.
The Daisongan was dead.
Yeah.
What a wild hand.
That was a lot of craziness for not a lot of outcome.
And we go again. So another stick in the pot, another home ball, up to 4 now. So there's 2,200 to be picked up by any of these players. Patrick.
Our situation doesn't really change for anybody here, really.
Mm-hmm. Goals are still the same. If you're Edwin here, are you just willing to call the South here and get this over with? Trying to wait a little bit for Ricci. There's a West that Lin is thinking about. I'm not sure what the Yaku is going to be if you do call it. He decides to let it go.
Interestingly enough, with the 2200 in the middle now, 5-2 is enough for Clinton to win from anyone. So the point onus has dropped a whole level basically for him.
5-2, you say? So 3 and 40 would
Yes.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
Pom.
Okay, Patrick wants to move things forward.
That's due in part to Lin being the one who had reaching. So the extra
Right.
1,000 points is in the middle. Otherwise, it would not be. Because it would be like what 50, 5,900 something like that with the sticks and everything.
リーチ
Well, Edwin, insta Ricci on the Chitoi Suji trap with the 3-mon. Would be fitting for Edwin to finish this game with a Chitoi.
Goes back to 6 because it's safe. This could be like just kind of tragic for Patrick here if Edwin sumos and gets the Ura because that would jump him below 30,000.
Yeah.
Hanemon.
Thinking, decides to keep going with a safe 6. So there are 2-3-mon left in the wall for that sumo, and Patrick has one of them. If he runs out of save tiles, might rely on Suji. Currently has another 6-0 and a 4-pin. Or Genbutsu. And did the 5-mon come out after?
If Patrick deals in 2, he'll go below.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of all the sticks and the points. Well, Ricci Chitois, they're still going to be 3,200 anyway.
I feel like this is your decision point. I guess you've dropped a 5 now, you still have some outs. Yeah, so Patrick decides to play it safe and hope that there's no Tsumo. There's still a couple save tiles, 4-pin, 5-mon, and then of course you have your Suji.
And at this point, like, Patrick is never going to throw the 3-mon. Well, maybe if you draw it, but if the 4 and 7 so become safes before that, now the 4 is safe. So if Patrick draws the 3, it's just another route to Tenpai to try to keep the game running if he wants to. A lot of people don't like to take a positive third, but I personally am like, don't care about it in the least. It's just some games are like that.
Yeah, I'll take any positive. And with that call, Patrick moves to Shanten again. Oh, there's another 3, so this would be Tenpai. He has a safe 5 to discard. Chooses to wait 2-5 though. For Tanyao.
Right, no 2s left. There is no 5s unless Lin cuts it. That advances the hand, but it's not there yet.
We have yet.
Tenpai, it might come out.
7 still safe. 9 draws remaining. It feels like Lin is primed to discard it.
So shift to Sanshoku there, I think.
Looks like it, yeah. Can draw around the Manzu tile now.
So one 3-mon left.
Patrick decides
the Tanki.
Yeah, 5 not worth pushing. 5 so. And that gives Lin some safety now with the 5-mon. Well, there's the 3. I don't think it's coming out of Clinton, though.
No, you can throw the 6. It's getting perfect Genbutsu.
And we keep going. Patrick maintained Tenpai. So another stick added to the pot, another Honba.
Now 3,500 points in the middle. Yaku High pair for Patrick, but Hatsu Anko for Lin.
With Clinton and Lin both being no 10 there, and then another 1,300 being added to the pot, that makes the difference 39. You said it was 52 last round, so if you subtract 13 from that, that's 39. Right? So 39, 330 would be enough now. Now Lin, of course,
calculator and not give a care.
Lin starts off with that Anko of Hatsu, calls immediately, just trying to grab this 1,000 to 2,000 point hand to finish this up. But Patrick also, some early calls, grabs the achieve the 1, 2,
Yes,
3.
when you count the points in the middle, there's a 3,600 point difference. So yes, 39 will now do it for Clinton to win.
Yeah, I just had the feeling that Patrick or Lynn will be the first to finish here. And it's an 8. So wait now.
Ooh, this is that 8 is very loose in Lynn's hand.
Oh, it feels like any second now. There's just not enough time to build a hand if you're in Clinton's seat, and even Edwin maybe has a better chance, but still is too far out.
Don't see the con yet.
Oh, will we see a weight switch? No. What if the 9 so had already been discarded, I guess? And there's the
Oh,
improvement
there it
that
is.
Lynn needed to come out. So Haku only 1,500, but that's actually 5,000 with all the sticks,
Grabs all the points, goes into second place.
and is only 2,200 away from stealing first here.
It's literally any hand to change one placement. I mean, unless you're
Absolutely.
Lynn, would you just stay first? But it's the 1,800 points. Your minimum you're winning is 2,800, and that's enough for any of the players that are fighting right now. And even Edwin, I think, just wants to stop the damage. Because now the gap is so big that it's the Baimon earlier was possible, but now it's very difficult.
Yeah, well here Patrick may be leaning towards 789 Sanchuk, who might even just call anything for it.
There is the Dora already, so definitely be enough to take the lead.
Lead it, then some.
Nobody looks like they are particularly fast here either.
No, perhaps the closest being Lin, who can call the Hatsu and then just call the rest of the tiles, but
Chi.
still plenty of shape upgrades to be made. And there we see a call from Patrick, just willing to take the open Sanshoku for 1 Han, or 2 Han. There's a Dora. Forgot about that. Oh, it draws the 7 immediately, so
that's
Tempai.
an amazing draw, and then once again we've got that loose 4-mon in Lynn's hand.
Home.
Tuso comes out first, but unless Lin draws around that 4-mon, this will be a deal-in.
It's one of those things where you see 7, 8, 9, you don't even expect the 4 to deal in.
Exactly, yeah. Who would expect a Sanshoku Tempai this early? Fortunately, it drops the 5 first, so still has the option of drawing around that 4, but tiles close to it are running thin. And here it comes.
Dong.
There it is.
So Patrick goes on a run.
There's 7 Homba. Patrick is in the lead.
And that was like the perfect player to hit as well. Actually, that moves Clinton into second, and now you've got about 6,000 to 7,000 on all the players who are close to you. And another reasonable high buy.
Pretty good starting hand. You really kind of want to see one more block develop and lock in the 9-so pair here. That's not exactly the way you want to do it. That just makes it awkward. But hopping around the table real quick. 3 pairs in Clinton's hand. A lot of Manzu. We'll see where it goes. Dora pair is the other unique feature. Edwin has 4 pairs as well, and a lot of honor win tiles. And Lynn has probably the fastest hand of the bunch. Lynn or Patrick. They're both kind of similar hands with their like choke points.
With 7, so is interesting, but the 8 was already discarded. That's unfortunate.
Oh, there's another pair for Edwin.
So it'll be interesting. Looks like he's just going for the Chi Toy. I mean, the wins, there's a lot of them, but 2 of the Wests are already discarded. Now, if you call every single one of the other ones, that's a hand.
Oh, yeah, lovely Pei Tunky Shosushi. But where are they? Well, the West is dead, so you're actually never going to see the Pei Tunky Shosushi. You
Yeah.
need to draw the Pei. But everything else is live enough to make it.
There is a world where we could see the Yakuman. So
Everybody's doing
Oh.
cheap here. Well, Edwin is calling, dreaming for the Shosushi, which is totally fair in this situation.
I think perhaps if you call a south, I'm wondering if I prefer 5-pin in case it dies. The dream ends somehow, and you can at least get Honitsu out of it.
All the toy toys were the same amount.
Oh, that's
so-
fair. Yeah. A
And I
five
mean,
pin,
if Edwin were to draw a 1-so here, I would totally expect 5-pin, 5-pin.
right. 5 pin is a very sneaky weight if you do end up on it. Although 1 has been discarded already.
It's Honitsu Toi Toi. It's a shame here that the West is dead, because that's the not only is that really important for the Yakuman, but it's also Edwin's seat. So it stops the Hanemon for the Honitsu Toi Toi to Yakuhai
Mm.
from happening.
ポン
East call now. North still in the wall. And Patrick had made the shift to a Chitoi, hoping to pair up the Dora. You see the Dora pair is
And
actually in
Lin
the
is
hand to the right.
Ishanten right now, actually.
Well, Ipeiko chance.
Just wondering is anything enough to win here for Lin is down by 7,200. No, you probably just need to reach if you want to have a shot at winning. And being in third, it's like with 37,000, it's like just reach. There's almost nothing to lose. There's Tenpai.
リーチ
This is going to be a bid for first.
Yeah, that hurts Edwin's chances. It makes it harder for the 5 pin to come out. What hurts the chances even more is drawing the winning
Oh.
tile, and that will come out on the Ipatsu turn. Richi, Ipatsu, Pinfu. And there's your Uda.
Enough to get back into the lead.
And that will end the game. So Lin reclaims first place after Patrick went on a crazy run, grabbing up to, what was it, 7 Homba? Let's take a look. Yeah, 7 Homba. Still, Patrick with a plus 19 is very strong second place, and even a positive third for Clinton. Plus 7 is very strong for that. Edwin got a little bit unlucky in this game, so we'll sort of take back-to-back games and wipe them out and play game number 5.
I think
Shortly.
we got a notification that they are not playing game number 5 right now.
Okay.
Because of how long this game ran.
Yeah, it was quite a long game, so perhaps we'll switch over to the other table that is already in progress. I know there's another match to be slated to start a little bit later in the evening, but there is a B3. Let's see. Let's see if I can find that one. Put this up. Can at least look at the standings while I search for it.
I think these standings are not updated from the last game.
Oh, well, okay. Perhaps we'll get a refresh in between. Here we go. All right, so we're joining in South, or sorry, East 2. Wait, East 2, that is actually it.
This
Not-
is their second game, I believe. They played one already.
Oh, gotcha. I was thinking we'd be farther along. And let me search up these names and try to update them for you. It is Tommy, Leon, Ryan, and Jessa.
You have the wrong Ryan on the.
I suspected
display.
so. There are multiple Ryans in this league. All right, there we go.
I believe the Tenho might have froze, but that you have a lot of things going on. So
Yeah, so when I try to switch the names, it always does that little freezing thing. And
Okay.
now that they're all set, it should be
we've
good.
got the table in process. We've
リー
got
チ
Jessa in Ricci with Hatsu.
Done.
And that's gonna deal in, so that's the end of that. Ricci, Hatsu, and Ura for 52.
All right,
That's exactly the point grab you want to get right about now with the scoreline the way it was.
I'm going to go ahead and switch the dealer. And I'm going to have to take a moment to step away. But I'll let you take care of things, Steve.
Sounds good. Okay, starting East 3 here, we've got a lot of Sozu for the dealer. This is one of those hands where you could force the flush if you really wanted to. Going around the table, that makes it even better. Okay, going around the table, completed sequence pair, a couple slow shapes in Jess's hand. Across the way with Ryan, we have a pair of Hatsu and some other
ポン
slow shapes. But does pawn the Hatsu to speed it up, and then Tommy's hand is the slowest. Actually, when the high pie came out before we switched, I was wondering if we were going to see a Kokushi attempt, just because you can't really abort the hands in the league. Most interesting is if we see a flush force from Tommy here as the Dora. It's in the Dora suit, and there are 2 Dora in the hand already, so this is going to be really spicy.
ポン
Although I suspect if we get 10 pie, we might just see a 10 pie take from Tommy, regardless, because of the speed up across the table.
All right, what did I miss?
Ryan really tried to speed up the hand, and Tommy's still sitting here, and we don't have a full flush commit yet. If there's a 10 pie with that involves the Manzu, probably just take the Ricci because of the 2 Dora is what I'm suspecting. But otherwise, nothing more has changed yet. Tommy's run a couple more pairs. I mean, not Tommy, excuse me. Ryan's run a couple more pairs, so we can maybe see a shift to a toy. There's a lot of pairs being held here. Tommy's Ishan 10 for Chitoy.
More pairs in the discards.
So Jess is trying to hunt down a well, maybe was trying to hunt down a 678 Sanshoku. It's still, the chance still exists.
Ryan somehow turning this into toy. Although I've seen Ryan do that quite a bit, actually, over the course of this season and the last season.
Oh, he just cannot pick up another Sozu to figure out what this hand wants to be.
There we see the toy Tenpai. That's Ishan 10 for Jessa.
One 2 so left in the wall, and all the other 5 pin are still in the wall.
Looks like only Jessa could use a 5 pin. Should that be drawn? Could call into Tenpai here for Tanya. Dora 1.
Tanya, Dora. No, there's your 5.
So now you can shift away with one of your pairs. Take the 147, except that would be Furi 10.
Not fearing the 147 here at all.
No, it seems like Tommy is going for some type of Chinitsu type thing in the so perhaps expecting to see more pin.
Threw it out.
Oh, another 5. I guess you can keep going with the 8, and this gives you ways to avoid the Furi 10. You can replace the 2 pin in your hand, in your sequence, with a 5, and wait 4-7.
Tommy didn't know this. I mean, Leon didn't know this going. I keep calling Leon Tommy because the name starts with T.
Oh, right.
I'm getting very confused at this point. Yeah, Leon didn't know this going into it, but the hand totally could have been a Honitsu Chitoy based on the draws.
Yeah, we'll finally find another pair for Tenpai. And we'll wait on the 5 so that had just come out.
リーチ
No, so that's gonna be a deal in.
ロン
So 5200 exchanges hands once again. Ryan almost at 50k will move over to Jess's dealership in East 4.
All right, on this hand, I'm going to take a minute and go grab a glass of water, so I'll leave it to you.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing that catches my eye is the pair of Dora to the right in Ryan's hand, as well as the Mochi Mochi Tunes At least across the table, Leon has an out. Doesn't require the tunes, as there is a Hatsu pair as well. Jessa did discard a Hatsu on the first discard, so only one left to be called there. The other thing that should be pointed out is perhaps a potential Honitsu for Jessa. If you're seeking value, you've got a lot of blocks in the Sozu. And if you can pair up the East, that could be a ton of value. Instead, just throws the East here, aiming to make a more normal hand and perhaps Itsu instead. It looks like the hand to the left in Tommy is actually Ishan 10. You couldn't call that 4 for Tenpai because there'd be no Yaku, but should you draw a 4 pin yourself, or a 5 pin, or a 7 so, or a 5 mon, then you'd have it. And now we see across the table, Leon has an Anko of the 2 so now. So this is technically Ishantem. And Ryan had paired up the Haku, does make that call. Will be interesting to see how he handles the situation, because most routes to Tenpai involve dropping the Dora 7. You don't really want to do that. With the call of the Hatsu though, Leon finds Tenpai on the 4 Mon. And none of those are in hand just yet. Maybe was thinking a little bit about calling that 3 Mon to go back a Shanten and aim for Toy Toy, but decided against it. Prefers the Tenpai here. And Ryan has drawn around that Dora now, so chooses to drop the 6-7, expecting to be able to call the Chun likely. Oh, maybe even shift to Toy Toy. Now you have pairs everywhere. For now, forgoes the Toy Toy option,
1、
but still has opportunities to make that later. Or forgoes, I guess, the maximum efficiency to Toy Toy. Here we see Tommy with the Ricci only on the 2-pin. A 2-pin drawn by Leon, who would deal in if he chooses to keep Tenpai here. Instead drops the safe 3 Mon, avoids the Ipatsu deal in. And I wonder if you can push the 5.
ポン
I am back here. Okay, yeah. The 5 is half Suji, but
Yeah, you see all
choose to trust it.
all the 6s now, so now Suji no longer applies there. But it's like, so it's Kabe, and then you see through the 3s, so like a 1 chance on the other side. I think Ryan's just going to keep pushing.
Since you can see all the 6s, yeah, because of the Doras.
Well,
Not
here's your
going to be in the
decision.
sequence. Yeah, it's free 10 though. Chooses to take it anyway.
So Fujiton, you have to sumo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 left in the wall. Just decides this is too hard to continue pushing, drops the Peonko. So now it's really a battle between, well, of course, Leon to sumo, and then between Ryan and Tommy. 2-pin is twice in the wall. And where are the 3 so's? 1 in Jessa's hand, and 1 in the wall. Of course, we know the Chun is Mochi Mochi, and the Dora unlikely to leave Jessa's hand. I guess there still is 1 left in the wall for that as well.
The Dora draw. It's going to be hard to get rid of, because you know with the board state, if somebody's got the Dora, they're either have a, I don't even know if they could have a Penchan. I haven't really looked at the board carefully enough for that. But the worst thing yet is you're dealing into a pair.
Right.
And you're making Dora 3.
Oh my. Ryan drew the final 2-pin, and correctly chooses to retain it in hand. So it looks like we're going to find Ryukyoku, with Tommy being the only player Tenpai, so plus 3,000, minus the Ricci stick, which sits in the middle of the table for Ryan's dealership. Well, this looks like a fairly standard hand for Ryan. You've got, Pinfu-esque shapes. You've got a door in hand. I'd be pretty happy to open it with this as a starter. Down to the right. Each
Gee.
pair can open up and move things forward. Well, actually, it's Tommy who decides to open up. Looks to be aiming for the Itsu in the pin. He just needs the 2-pin to find Tempai there.
Itsu, I mean, East pair can't open up here because we're in South 1 now.
Oh, you're right. We are
So
already over there. Now has the South pair, though.
yeah.
That can open up.
Yes, so Leon's hand is really rather clunky without some sort of Yaku like to help it because it's not even going. It wasn't even headed towards Pinfu there with the 3 pairs already in hand. Could see a push for Toy
Boom.
Toy
Yeah, Toy Toy Honitsu might be very...
or just double South Dora depending on what comes in.
Yeah, at least calling here moves you forward and leaves those options open. Whereas Tommy's call, it moves you forward, but your options are very closed. At this point, you're looking for 2 very specific tiles. Or it would be
Boom.
5-on, 5-on would work too. There's the East call. So now we are
The
moving.
Honitsu.
Mm-hmm. Haven't really looked at Jessa's hand just yet. That's a great draw, and that's Tempai. So we have the 2, 3, 6 weight. Sort of call back to the Pinzu weight that you were analyzing a little earlier. The Nobetan
Sumo.
next to an Anko, but you just
Yep.
sumo.
Yep, Shipot Sumo Dora.
Mangan.
Dora does well. You needed to hit the 1-so or the 6-so there for it to matter.
Well, that's a nice pickup for Jessa as we move forward to the South round.
I find it interesting when we're streaming. Maybe it's just a confirmation bias and I remember it, but the hand we're leaving always seems to be the most interesting. That was a lot of Monzu.
Yeah, well, we'll look right over there. Ryan's hand has a Dora, but that's not really where the interest lies. It's that, what in the world? That's 4 pairs in the Manzu?
Yes.
And started with a Hatsu discard, so not even thinking Honitsu quite yet. Wants the full Chinitsu. Oh my goodness.
This unfortunately, there's too many pairs in the hand for it to be Churen unless you get massively greedy. But the tiles are there.
Like,
I can't see just not just pawning. Well, I guess not. It's like I would just pawn that, I think.
I mean, you've got 5 pairs, so you can make Chinitsu Toy Toy.
Yeah, it's like at a point where this hand is, like if you drew a 3-so, it's Tempai, I guess. It's Ipeiko. But
Yeah, you pick a Dora 1.
this point, I'd
Woohoo!
be just dreaming bigger.
At least, maybe you're hoping to draw Dora instead. Toy Dora 2, 64.
I would rather have Chinitsu.
Yeah. And I'm sure Ryan's thinking about it as well.
We got big greed. I don't know. I'm just greedy. Oh, we have a 1-2-3 Sanshoku chance in
Oh, denied.
and not taking it. Okay.
4 pairs. But if you retain the 3-so, it gives you the opportunity to use the Dora, which is what I really
Oh
like.
my goodness. That is not Tenpai, I don't think.
No. But we
But
do.
it's Chinitsu.
We did see the 1 Mon passed even before that Vor was drawn in. So it looks like if Ryan's going to build his Chinitsu, it's going to be built closed.
I feel like at this point you need to get rid of that Dora before it comes back to sting you. I mean, yeah, you want to hold it for the value, but it's like you can't unless you're going to do a Chi toy with it.
Well,
Oh, jeez, there. Okay. It is. It's Chi toy,
Yeet.
but it's just. What do you wait on here? Like nobody's gonna throw any Monzu into that.
yeah, the Richie's here.
Press the button. Do you want the 5 or do you want the?
I imagine
the
that shape's probably hard to read. Like, wait, I'm Tempai? Wait, I didn't think I was Tempai. This is oh, it's Chi Toy. Okay, which weight do I want now?
Getting chased down here with a 4-7 so 6-mon Entotsu with Tanyao.
Yeah, I'd be so scared. Well, I guess that it doesn't really
It
look
would have
completely like
It
it.
would have been an Ipatsu Sumo if he took the 4 too. I don't know if you
Oh.
saw that.
I did miss that. That's unfortunate. And results in Jessa finding a Mongon now. Riichi, Tsumo, Tanyao. I think there's an Ura as well. And wow, so things certainly shifting here. Jessa about to claim
weird,
first.
that hand had the weird thing about like Tsuchida Pro's like Suji Toitsu theory, where the 4-pin or the 4-mon was Tsuji to 2 Toitsu in the hand, the 1 and the 7. You didn't have 8s, so the 5 wasn't a Suji Toitsu.
So that means you should wait on the 4 then?
This is the 4.
Okay.
Pom.
I'm not familiar with all...
This is super hindsighty, though. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Tsuchida's like, Tsuchida has this mindset of like, you might be, if you're feeling lucky, go for it. That's his way, his play by feel.
Yeah, I am not familiar with all of that type of theory, but it is certainly interesting to hear about it.
I recommend anybody who wants to like just have fun with it to look up his stuff. He did a lecture for Richinomi in New York City at one point that was set up a couple of, I don't know how long ago it was now, but you can find it on YouTube, and he just has a very great love for the game, whether he's winning or losing. You can just totally see it in how he talks about the game.
Well, that's great. I'm sure.
So it help a lot of us desalt.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure a lot of viewers will find value in that and such a lecture. And you said it's on the Richinomi YouTube page?
Yes, it is. I believe it's still there. It should be.
Great. So viewers, you can check that out. Tommy here angling for a Tanyao here, but it requires some very specific draws. The 4-mon being premium here. Or paramount, I should say. We see an interesting call to the right as well. Looks like Jessa might be trying to shift that towards Tanyao as well. Well, shift accomplished. And now Tenpai across the table for Ryan, west only, on a 2-5 pin weight. Only 5 pin available on the wall here. And of course, to the left we saw a call of the Chun. Perhaps this will turn out to be Chanta. Either Chanta or Chundor 1.
Interesting pun there. It didn't really advance the hand at all.
But perhaps it gives you better ways to... I was going to say find a pair.
Con, you might be able to con.
Con.
Like now you could, yeah, exactly. Gonna say, depending on what you draw, you may be given an opportunity to con.
Is this one of those situations where you prefer to retain the 5-mon over the 2-mon there?
Yeah, I mean, you can't win on the 1 anyway, and now the 1 is Dora. So it's really just really risky to hold on to it. It may turn out to be a benefit here of another 2-mon. There isn't one, never mind. Okay, if another 2-mon came in, you'd have that 1-3-4 weight. Just give yourself more tiles to win on.
But we see Ryan had the chance to switch to Doratanki. Chose against it, just one of the wider weight. Already in first place, didn't want a weight that was less likely.
That's also very risky as well, though, because you don't know who's waiting on the Dora.
Yeah, I mean, with these calls from dealer, you might be expecting dealer to want the Dora. And that would certainly be expensive.
No, the Dora might come out. Chooses to keep the Dora. Actually, that weight is dead. So we have to get creative.
Yeah.
I just now realized that weight is dead. I was like, oh, it's a Chanta. We should take it. Oh, no, it's not.
This
chance to switch.
Chi.
Yeah, 6 had come out earlier.
So now Tommy is Otozuke for 1-4 pin. The tragedy is drawing the 1 pin here because you'll deal in with it, as well as sumoing your own hand, no Yaku.
Yeah. 2 1 pin left in the wall for Leon. As well as 1 8 pin. We're approaching the end game, and the 2-5 has yet to come out for Ryan. He's been waiting on this for a long time. Oh, and there's a 1, so...
Sumo.
Chundor 1. Extra foo for the 1 pin sumo. And we'll move ourselves to South 4, all last. This is Jess's chance to claim first place over Ryan. pretty average starting hand. Maybe you've got bare bones for an Itsu if you're trying to find a way to make value, but you're probably just making a normal hand here.
ポン
Across the table, that is not a normal hand. Looks like South Toy Toy.
Maybe just trying to get 5,200 points and get above the line.
Well, this would be 52.
As a Mangan Sumo is enough to take second away here.
But a positive
But-
result is definitely something worth fighting for. And you can still make Sun Uncle here.
Yeah, I was noticing that we were seeing that in the standings, and the viewers can look at the standings as they come up on the screen and see that a player with a worse average placement sometimes has a higher score than a player with a better average placement. And that's because they're the one, like the player with the better average placement, if you look at their games, got like 2 negative seconds, and their thirds were all negative, and then the player with the worst placement got positive thirds, so and so on.
I feel like I find myself getting a lot of negative seconds and positive thirds, and they kind of counteract each other and balance out to a pretty standard
ポン
line. Although I think this season I am 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 2 fourths. Negative 0.1 score line.
Just see what Tommy's planning on doing here with his hand. It's just taking Shundoradora is not going to be enough to get out of last.
ち
Perhaps hoping to be able to call the third Dora Formon. Make a Mongon out of
They
this.
are actually all in the wall still.
If that's the plan, maybe you don't want to be holding the 5 and the 2 here.
チ
Granted, the 3,900, if it's a direct hit, is that enough? I believe it is, yes. 3,900 is a direct hit off of Leon, then it will be enough.
Ooh, Khan? To try to make a Mongon here? Could see sorely tempted to, but ends up declining.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I feel like we're going to see the 5 now.
Yeah.
She and Bishabo.
This feels like the
or,
right
or
play.
just on the door
Boom.
and take Tenpai.
And we see Tenpai Cross
Boom.
now. 2 Tenpais. So across the table, there's your Toy Toy South.
The 4-3 is a whole lot more live. They're all live.
Wow.
Toy South, the 5-8. The 8 is 1 left, and the 5 is 1 left.
Yeah, with middle tiles like the 4 and the 3, you're not expecting it to be all in the wall, but here we are. So for Tommy, direct hit from Toyman would be enough.
That is Tenpai for a 7. Yeah, for 7. So Jessa just dumbing it.
Jessa now Tenpai for the 3-6 for Tanyao. And then Ryan, of course, on that 7. Has no need to throw the Ricci stick out.
Oh, yeah, that's not. This is the dealer. I'm getting everyone wrong here in this game.
Wow, things so tense. Everyone Tenpai here. Oh, and there's a 4.
Can you incorporate that Dora? No.
ロン
And that will deal in. That has massive implications on the standings. Tommy will climb
It will
out of
end the
third.
game.
And that will drop Ryan below Jessa.
So Jessa will take the win on that deal in, but Ryan still stays in second.
Yeah, still positive result for Ryan there will be.
Tommy gets the Gyakuten because the Dora deal in.
And
So really, if you're Leon there, you just watched all the standings change, and you ended up in fourth doing like nothing.
yeah, it's quite
It's
a
kind of unfortunate.
especially, with that high pie, you think this is it, this is the win. I have everything set. It took so long to find Tenpai, but then you were even Tenpai for a few turns and just could not get the winning tile to come out. And so, unfortunately, negative 19 for Leon, but wasn't much you could do to avoid that. You did the best that you could, and negative 19, all said and done, is not the worst 4th place in the world.
We've seen worse third places, and even an occasional game a worse second place. Than
Yeah.
that.
All right, let me see if I can get these standings to update. We'll throw in a quick. Oops, that's the wrong one. Quick refresh. Take a look at how the standings will have changed in between sets here. So after all is said and done, Leon still in third place, very comfortably so. Jessa climbs up the standings a little bit, now in 7th. And for this B3 table, rather B3 standings, let me move over to the... Oh, this one hasn't updated either. Well, let me head right back. I believe the top 11 advance here. So currently Jessa in position.
How many players are in B3 this time around? 34?
34, I believe, yeah. So almost a third of the division will advance.
And that's, of course, something we're going to expect pretty much every season now, right? If new people keep joining us, that is.
Yeah.
Everyone starts in the bottom, and then a large portion advances to balance the population.
Yeah, we've seen quite a large number of entrants. Surprisingly, you'd think we'd run out of players in the U.S., but we keep finding more. So if anybody who's watching this for the first time or has been watching for a while and has some interest in being a part of the ARML, there are signups available for the Fall League. You can see it scrolling at the bottom right now. Registration is open till I believe it's the 19th of September. And the sooner you register, the more likely it is that you'll be able to get the opportunity to play as a substitute should one be needed for the summer semester. Of course, we play fairly standard rule set with no red fives, and a very interesting floating UMA situation where if you're above 30,000, you're guaranteed a positive score. Vice versa, if you're below 30,000, it's going to be negative. And yeah, it's been a ton of fun so far.
Has the league seen the rare game yet where everyone has been below 30K?
I think we had one game that got extremely close to it, but did not actually end up happening. But in the case, the extremely rare situation where everyone is below 30K, I believe it follows the standard.
Yeah, it just goes back to normal UMA. And for the viewers wondering how that happens, it's if there's a Ryukyoku with everyone having Riichi sticks on the table or something, and everyone be below 30K, then whoever's in the lead just wins.
Yeah, and dealer not being tempai, so that the hand actually progresses forward.
I don't know where we're going next with this, but I just saw a B1 table start.
Yeah, I was just waiting for that B1 table to pop up. So it looks like with that, we will have 5 minutes until that goes live. And perhaps that would be a good time to take a small break, grab something to drink. I know I need to clear my throat a bit. And we'll be back in 5 minutes to catch a match from B1. It should be a very interesting table. It's a 5-player table with Philip, Alex, Josh, and Ada, as well as Alec. Yes, there's Alex and Alec at this table. So it's a 5-person table. The 4 players who will be playing right now are the first 4 mentioned. Alec will be sitting out. But I know all of these players were very exciting to watch in the last season, the spring season, so I'm quite interested in seeing how this one plays out. And so we will be back in about 4 minutes now to catch the start of that match. I'll see y'all then. Welcome back, everybody. We're about to start B1 match, and there it goes. As mentioned before, this is the table that has Alex, who is our current dealer, Philip, who is the player to the right, Josh, who is sitting across the table, and Ada to the left. And currently, Philip is in the lead among this group of players, although Alec will be joining the table a little bit later in the evening. Alec is in second place overall currently. The standings in B1 are very tight, and let me adjust the title so that it actually says that this is B1.
I was just noticing that looking at it right now. We have, I think, maybe the lowest score in first place right now, if I'm not mistaken, out of all the divisions.
Yeah, and plus 92.6 is, of course, nothing to sneeze at, but in all the other divisions, I believe we've had a player jump out to, the plus 150 or so. So this is definitely...
I'm looking at it right now, and B2 is similar.
Okay, so B1, B2...
Riley is leading B2 with 85, so it's actually a little more narrow.
Yeah, very interesting to see how these divisions have been playing out. In the spring season, it was A1 that was extremely tight all the way through until the final round. And now there's a lot of spread in A1, whereas the other divisions are a little bit tighter. But yeah, looking at the match here, we saw an early call from Ada, who I think is making Chanta. Alex, our current dealer, has Adora in hand, potentially Peiko in the Manzu, and now has paired up the East, which should be double East. Decides to drop the Tuso from the 1-2 shape. You can still, of course, draw the Dora and make a double East Dora pair.
Yeah, this is one of those hands where if you draw another Dora, you're kind of on the fence. Do you go full efficiency and drop 2-3 mon, or you go full greed and drop the 6-7, because not only would one mon be Peiko, it would also guarantee a Chanta.
Yeah, I was even thinking before you drop the Tuso, you could consider dropping the 6-7 and aim for Chanta, but I think the 1-2 is perhaps more efficient.
This is definitely the more efficient route, but the 1-4 is half dead already.
We can see 2 of the ones discarded, and you've got 1 in your hand, so the chances of drawing...
And 2 of the 4s.
Yeah,
so.
The chances of drawing to the Peiko are slim. Chances of completing that are, the shape altogether are less slim, but still a little bit tricky. Of course, in this situation, now that you've drawn an Anko of the 2-mon, you can just call the East for Tenpai and the 5-8, which would be a fair win.
Like Ada is managing to put together this Chanta here.
Ishanta now. I see tiles lighting up, which means we have a Tenpai across the table for Tanyao. Tanyao only, the 2-5, so... Currently, looks like 4 left. 3 left, sorry.
Oh, that deals in, but there's no Yaku.
Yeah, interesting no Richi there from Philip. Perhaps just didn't want to take Richi Nomi when you can't see the Dora and you've got a player who's going for what looks like a Junchan or Chanta. If they have an Ankh of Dora, you could be dealing into a very expensive hand. Oh, I guess you could see 2 of the Dora, never mind.
There's a pawn here now, and will make for an interesting Tanki if the East comes out, but I'm wondering if he's thinking the East is just not going to come out.
Yeah, it looks like a call for K10. Unfortunately,
there is but 1 left, and they're in the wall. So
this Chanta's going to win it out. So 2,000 goes Ada's way.
You have a comment in the chat that the B1 standings look a little weird, but there's actually a player. There's the 21 players in the division, so the player in 21st is not shown. It's only 25th.
Yeah, for divisions that have more than 20 players, unfortunately, not all of those players will appear on the screen.
Boom.
Right, we've gone into the next hand. Philip has a nice high-pie here. It does seem to be heading towards being a Shabo, but we'll see how it's dealt with. Josh has, well, East and calls it Dora in hand.
Yeah, fairly straightforward.
Ada has already called Hatsu, has Dora acceptance, but the other blocks are all nothing is complete yet, so I just have to see where it goes.
Chi.
And I haven't even gotten to Alex's
Chi.
hand, and Philip is already Tenpai, but Dama on this.
He's hoping to be able to draw onto Pinfu in addition, or just Tan Yao.
Mhm.
Ooh, do you switch out here?
I think your best bet there might have been the 5-pin, just because you keep the both groups of 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's not too many
Each.
ways to end up free 10. But there we have a Pinfu, so
So Ricci Pinfu is it. Oh, there's a Dora discard, but that will pass safely. And Alex on the left, we were just about to get there. Ishanten here. Wait, sorry. That's Tenpai.
it is waiting on the 5. 5 so. No Ricci. Hard to fight the dealer with a Kanchan on the exactly middle tile.
Yeah, this 3-mon looks pretty suspicious. And for that reason chooses to bail out. So I know from having watched Alex play in previous seasons that he's fairly strong defensively and unwilling to take that weak Ricci against the dealer. Gets rewarded by not dealing in. It looks like Ada also kind of destroying the hand
Sumo.
to avoid dealing in. That
Sumo. Ricci Sumo Pinfu. And 1 Ura for 26 all.
that makes it a little bit more expensive.
Way to jump out into the lead.
Oh, very nice.
Going around the table here, these hands are the dealer has the fastest hand. Just
Yeah.
looking at it at a glance, I would say that Josh's hand is interesting because of the Anko and the pairs, but every other hand is slow. The shapes are Ryankan at best.
Yeah, I want to keep an eye.
Ada has a couple Ryanmen, but there's just so many things incomplete.
The Dora 2 is also something I want to keep an eye on for Ada.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
This is one of those hands where if I had one more block to make a Tanyao out of, I would probably just start calling stuff and throwing the 9s and chasing after Tanyao Dora 2, but there's many different schools of thought on that. Like some people just say just start calling, and I'm just like I don't want to heavy exposed with like a 4-tile hand later on because I didn't plan ahead. But that's just different ways of thinking about the game.
well, slowly progressing forward. Maybe Alex can think about Itsu, but your pair is in the Pinzu currently, and a little bit hard to imagine perfect draws working out. Although now you found an alternate pair.
Interesting that that Philip's hand really has not moved forward much at all, despite it being the fastest at the beginning.
Has drawn a lot of pairs. We see, of course, the 3-mon and the 6-mon pair were there from the start. 7-pin pair and 8-so pair. For a hand that you're trying not to make pairs out of, it's a little bit awkward. Now it has routes to call for Tanyao, though, even though it'll be Tanyao only.
There's Ada's way to get a Tanyao if you throw the 9-pin pair now. There it goes. Still has the Atazuke problem on the 7-8 Mon, but
Another Dora drawn for Josh. How does he want to play this? Starts with the 8, so no Chitoi. Only 4 pairs at the time anyway. Across the table, we do see Tenpai with the Dora 2 hand. It is just waiting on the 5-pin. Oh, now it's Tanyao.
Now it's kind of a defensible Dama, but chooses to give up the Tenpai.
Wants more than a Kanchan wait. Now this
This is
path,
all the whole Dora 2 like bad weight is definitely a totally reasonable Dama. Josh has now run into the Ipeco, which might have been what he was looking for when he trimmed down the other blocks.
unfortunate for Ada that so many of the lower pin tiles have been discarded. Otherwise, you might be thinking about making an Ipeco here. Oh, well, that's an unfortunate backfire. Goes back into Tempai. Huri 10 for Tanya Pinfdora 2. 3-6.
Alex draws are just weird. There's more and more pairs getting into the hand.
Philip redrew into that 8-so pair. Would call it for Tempai. Just trying to give more outs to be able to call for Tanya.
It's almost too late to give up Tenpai if you're Ada here. You're kind of just stuck with it because you never know if you're going to get it back again in the third row.
Right. Yeah, just throws the 7, so right back.
I feel like if this 9 comes out, we may see it called to maintain dealership anyway.
So does it shows instead, which might even be better for Philip, who might not call it at 19 tiles remaining, but at 15 tiles maybe would. Now Philip can also call the 3 mod and the 6-8. So of course the 4 pin. The 4 pin's not coming out. 6 will not deal in.
So I can have a weight swap for Ada on the 2-2 Shabo, which just not take it.
Could also take the Ipeco 3 pin.
Yes.
Oh, I think that's what you're.
No, I saw the 2-2 Shabo, but you're right. There's an Ipeco 3 pin as well.
And that would be Damo Mangan.
Dama Mangan. The other way would be Dama Mangan only on the Dora.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Just perhaps thinking there are going to be more 3-6.
The 2 pin was already dead though, so you could only win off the Dora if you took the Shabo.
And we did see that 9-so call, by the way. So Philip aiming to repeat his dealer. And it looks like Ada will retain Tempai as well. So in Yukioku, it is Philip and Ada who will grab the 1500. We'll see a dealer repeat for Philip. East 2-2. Another reasonable start for Philip. You have all the blocks you need. 2 away from Tempai. Even potential Sanshoku.
Some slow shapes, but if you draw either of those Kanchans, it's a hand that, as the dealer, even if you draw your Ryanmen and if the Kanchan Dora 1, you just you put out the stick and you just intimidate the table.
Yeah, will anybody survive the intimidation here? Does anyone have something worth fighting for?
See Josh with 3 pairs. The rest of the shapes are all right. So it really depends on what this hand goes through in the next few draws. Ada has potential Itsu in the pin with a couple draws, but otherwise it's 3 pairs. It's really not great shape. And Alex has another pair of dragons, so this might be where it gets exciting.
Yeah, has been drawing dragons, drops the Dora shape to hang on to that Chun with a Hatsu call would be Tempai for Shosangan. Oh! Well, this is another way to get Tempai for Shosangan, but do you really want just Shosangan?
It's rough, but Mangan is still Mangan. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Mangan would move you over 30k.
The thing is if you draw a pair in any of those like sequences, you can drop it.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to greed for Daisangen only, there you probably want to drop from the Sozu somehow. And just keep the Yon Renke 4 in a row and pin.
Yeah. You'd be able to drop another So tile here, and then call your dragon and drop the final So tile for the Shampon Tempai. But this is a good, middle ground. You still have your Mangan Tempai, but if you draw a pair somewhere before getting your win, you can then switch to the Daisangan.
They are not coming out either, so they're just all still in the wall.
Yeah. That dealer hand has drawn another Dora, but still slow to progress. All right, there's your pair. Will we see it?
It's tempting. Oh, we're gonna see
All right,
it.
let's go.
And they're all still in the wall.
My only concern is that that long hesitation might make it feel like you're going for Honitsu here, and that you just found Tenpai. The players might be.
I mean, Philip has a hand worth fighting for as well, because it's Tanya Dora
That's
3
true.
with call. Or 2 or 3. 2 or 3. 8 is in Ricci, so it's like if you push, where are they? We have a chat. We have a comment in the chat. Dragon's Doko.
Oh, okay. Here's that.
I'm like,
Here's Hatsu.
exactly. But it's Shonpai. It's like
Yeah, you can't drop it against a Ricci. It really needs to be drawn by Ada. Oh, there's the Chun.
But he's got a hand worth fighting for, but maybe not.
Yeah, decides this isn't worth
The
it.
Dora with the Dora too. It's like you could be greedy, but
Josh would be Ishanten if you could drop the Tumon or the Dragon.
the thing is, it's early.
Oh, the dragon comes out.
There's the dragon. Oh, the Chun.
The Chun's never coming out now.
The Chun's never coming out from that hand. I mean, Ada's probably like, uh-oh.
What?
Dora? We see Dora Pon? No.
What is the wait for Ada? It's 2-5 pin. 2s are gone.
5
5 pin left in the wall. Oh no!
that's
I mean, that's a great sumo, but oh no! I wanted to see the dice on it so badly. So very cheap out or end to this hand. But wow, that was exciting. I was really rooting for that last tune to be in the wall very soon.
Ada probably just breathed a huge sigh of relief. It doesn't even care how much the hand is worth. It's like, I didn't pay 32,000 points.
It reminds me of a game from the spring season where two players had, or there are two situations where a player had Shulsangen and Daisangen against a Ricci from Luce. And both times Luce won the hand and dodged it. And then Luce got, I think, won a Yakuman that game. Or Shulsangen or something like that. And, oh, no. Luce won, it was a Yakuman. It was 13 Orphans, I believe. And so killed a Daisangen and a Shulsangen, then won
I've
the
seen
Yakuman.
all these stream things of Luce winning Yakumans, and I'm just like, I'm playing Luce this session, so I don't want to see any Yakumans. Let's just me winning them.
Yeah, so we'll see if Ada can do the same here. Killed one Yakuman. Now can you find a Yakuman yourself? As it is Philip who's trying to kill this hand with a Haku call. Does have a door in hand, but a little bit difficult to make use of that unless you can draw around it in the near future. Dealer. Okay, blocks, but two pairs in the middle pin is a little bit difficult. And it's also sad to see 5, 5, 5, 6 in your discards.
Got another comment in the chat about how that's probably the expected result for being Daisangen greedy, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I totally agree. I mean, we're in East still too, so
yeah,
the score line's really tight. You could go ahead and try it.
It's not like this is end game situation where every point is super tight. It's still fairly early on in the season. You want to be able to jump out ahead with Yakuman. That would be a very great start. Oh, this is getting interesting for Philip now. Toy chances. Starts with a 7.
Kind of, I would say it's kind of equivalent, but the 3 is harder to call than the 9.
Yeah, I think so too. I prefer the 7-mon discard here. And the other hand, still with these beautiful shapes, I sometimes find myself in the Pinfu trap. You've got all your Yamen shapes set, and you're like 2 safe tiles, and you're just waiting for any of those to fill, and they just never come.
This is one of those hands. Well, see what happens now. This is an example here of like the 3-mon makes sense because you want to end up on that Dora accepting weight here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the difference between the 5 block and the 6 block theory. It's like the pays aren't doing anything for this hand, except for just being there and being a potential pay weight, I guess. But you already threw one, so you can
1
definitely break this down.
Yeah, interesting. Ada chose.
Ada's whole hand is lit up because she's waiting on one part of it, and the rest of it deals in. Oh, that's not Ada's hand. Excuse me. Philip's whole hand is lit up.
Yeah.
that's
Oh, that's incredible.
wild. That's wild. Yeah.
But it's
The
because he's
3-6
Tenpai, though.
No, he's waiting 6,
Yeah.
6, 10, 9 mon.
But the
Ada
fours.
is Tenpai. Ada is Tenpai on 3-6,
Yeah.
and Alex is Tenpai on 1-4. So the whole hand is just completely like alarm bells.
Sumo or die. Fortunately, that also means that it's actually rather difficult to deal in.
The tragedy here is if you draw a con on the high and you can't con it, so you're forced to deal in.
4
Oh, but the 9 comes out.
Oh, that was the
And
last
that was
style.
high-tay.
Oh, God, ouch.
All right, well, that turns.
Oh, I feel bad now.
that turns
I was
into
like
a fun-
foreshadowing that.
Yeah.
Because I've heard of that happening once, where somebody like every single tile on their hand dealt in, and they drew a con tile on the high tape but couldn't con it, so they just dealt in.
Absolutely tragic. Well, that puts Philip in the lead now by a decent margin, over 10,000 points, and it is Ada's dealership. Reasonable high pie here. Has the pair of Hatsu to speed things along if necessary.
Now, Ada's hand looks pretty fast.
Pawn.
Philip across the way has West pair, pawn, so also fast. Alex's hand might be looking for some value after the last couple. Has a chance for it to be Junchan, depending on the draws. Or
Yeah.
Itsu. Either way, you would be completely happy to see an Itsu and Pinzu here, too, because of the Dora. But
Yeah, if you're thinking Itsu, you probably just throw the 2-mon back.
Mhm.
And it still leaves the Junchan open.
Ada's hand is looking pretty fast, and
And very...
Philip is Ishanten as well. Nope, there's Tenpai. Chooses the 8, so wait, and they are all on the wall still.
technically Tenpai, but do you want it? Dama. You can still call the Hatsu.
You can call the Hatsu and go to 858.
Oh, interesting. Philip drew the 6 so back and chose to take the Huriten 2-sided.
That's interesting. You could palm down, go to a Tanki. Yep. Maybe realizing that, oh, I'm free 10.
Does Ada want to cheapen the hand?
Go to 2-5, or not 2-5, 5-8.
It kind of makes sense given that your Toyman has called twice and you might need to speed your hand up too, even though you were Tenpai, waiting for an
Can still
upgrade.
utilize the Dora with Ada's hand. You just draw it and cut the 7.
Yeah, I had sort of walked her way down from 876 to 765 and could go down even to 654. That's always something to think about when you have a Dora near one of your sequences. Could have been a weight switch there.
Kept the Tanki instead.
Either likes something about the 6-0 or doesn't like dropping that against the dealer. Well, now you're in a little bit of trouble. The 6-0, though, is safe from Alex's Ricci and does save the 5-0 from coming out and dealing into Ada. The Ricci here is a 2-5 pin. Lots in the wall, and not a surprise to see it wouldn't be drawn immediately. Ricci, Patsumo, Pinfu, and Adora. No Ura to make it Hanemon, but Mongun is much needed for Alex here. It wasn't the Itsu, it wasn't the Junchan, but Mongun regardless. So Alex actually
Patsumo goes a long way to make up for some value you may have decided to get rid of being more efficient or whatever.
Right. Yeah, Alex actually in third now after that sumo. Josh hasn't really been able to play that much. Has gotten Tenpai a couple times, but just hasn't got the win.
We're already off to a start here. Alex has already called Hatsu, and Philip's already called double south. Aku is the Dora. We see that come out already from Ada. And these two players are probably just like, how can I speed this up? Because it's like the Dora's already been cut. I'm not worried about anybody having it.
Yeah, not as much need for safety here.
I mean, one Dora doesn't necessarily mean anything, but if somebody's cutting a Yakuhai Dora in the first couple turns and nobody pawns it, that is usually a pretty good sign that you can be full speed ahead. Always, of course, there's a chance somebody pairs it up, but be said about any tile.
Yeah, with 2 Yakuhai calls, there is the potential to wait Dora Tanki or retain a lone Dora a little bit longer than you usually might.
In these cases, neither of the players have them, but I would not blame them if they cut a floater or some sort of weak block tile if they drew a Dora.
Yeah, Alex really seems to be in the driver's seat here.
Chi.
Definitely the whitest Ishan 10.
Boom.
That advances the hand, but
Also, it's Alex's hand.
yes. Well, Philip called and did like the weight shift to leave a con
Gee.
behind, taking what tile was available.
Yeah.
That is 10 high, so they're both there. 2-5 versus 3-6. 2-5 is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 held.
And 4 for the 3-6 as well. 3 versus 4.
You also have to start wondering whether Philip might have a Honitsu, because of the calls you can see.
Yeah. Although perhaps you think less so with so many of the honor tiles discarded early as well as the 1-9.
Yeah, it would have to be something tricky, like a bunch of 7s or 6s. 6-7 Shava or something, or an honor tile. Whatever honor tiles are alive. I haven't really been looking at the board, but when somebody has 3 calls to a Honitsu, it always crosses your mind.
Right. Well, there's a 5. That can't be used in hand, so
Sumo.
will be retained, but another 5 is drawn for the Tsumo, double none. And Phil grabs 2,000 more.
Wing itself, too, with the interesting situation where Philip is the only one above 30k, although that can change in a hurry with Ada being so close. Going around the table here, we've got maybe an Itsu and the Pinzu for Philip. Josh has the double south pair this time. The other blocks look pretty good, so that hand looks pretty fast. It's more of a matter of that 8 is amazing. Coming up with the extra pair there, so now you can wait on the south or just pawn. Ada's hand is 3 pairs, and the blocks are okay, but we'll see where it goes. And finally, Alex's hand is moving along nicely as well. The interesting thing is that the pay is the Dora, and 1 has been cut, but the rest are all on the wall.
Yeah, Philip had drawn another pair. But nothing to accompany that. It still looks like it could be a normal hand. Now, interested, you take the call and go headless here. Probably better to not. As this way you can call into a good weight.
Yeah, the only weird like justification for pawning there would be, okay, you're going to be on the Tanki somewhere. If you're like internal sense of greed, it's like, I want Dora Tanki, but
Right.
you don't have a Dora at all. Like, it's one of those things I was saying before. Like, if he drew a Dora right now, I would not blame him for cutting the extra 2 so in hand. I mean, now it's paired, but
Right. Oh.
choosing the pawn chances.
Would you say that's unusual? You do get to call from anyone around the table.
I mean, one of the 8s has already been dropped, so I don't. I personally wouldn't do it, but I see the merit.
I guess 2 of the 9s were gone. Maybe 3 before the.
I mean,
Or
I'm
did that come
also
out?
wondering
Ash came
whether
out
it's
after.
like, could it be? It's not. It can't. It's hard to make it toy with the sequence already made. That could be a bid for Honitsu, but it's so many blocks away. There's the Dora. No. Yep. Okay. Weakening
リーチ
the strongest block to keep the Dora. It is Genbutsu to Ada though, so I wouldn't be surprised if it comes right back out.
Yeah, the 2-5 pin weight for Richie Nomi
Chi.
across the table.
Oh,
Oh.
it looks like he's So he's going for it for
Yeah.
the Honitsu.
Wants the value. Would be Hanuman if you could get the pair of Dora. Interesting, no one pin there.
Only one 5-pin left. The 2-5. Wait, oh, there's a advancement. Interestingly enough, nobody else has drawn the Dora and dropped it, but at this point, it's probably too scary to drop.
Right. That means it's still in the wall for Josh to draw. So ideally would find a Tuso or a North. Of course, you do have that 6, 7, 9 weight possible if you choose to discard the Dora.
So yeah, I only see the one pay in the discard, so I don't think that 6 is coming out, but that would be 10 pie if it does.
Well, 6 mana revealed to be clear, so Josh can now discard that safely.
Oh. So where's the two? The two thos are held. But now,
This last one just drawn.
and there's one Dora left.
Yeah, where's the last? There's one more draw. Oh, it comes out!
롱,
And there's your Hanuman for Josh. And that's actually huge to hit Alex with that. This jumps Josh all the way into second place. And wow, what we thought was going to be a fairly, cheap hand, double non only, managed to work its way into Hanuman. I did not think it was going to complete, but somehow Josh made it happen.
That was another one of those hands where if you're Ada, you're just glad you didn't draw the pay. Similar to the tune earlier.
Right.
It would have been Daisangen.
I'm sitting here taking notes on how to increase hand value.
The second time this game where Ada's been in Ricci and there's been a huge threat on the table. I mean, the Daisangen being far larger, but
Well, Ada tends to avoid those things. Somehow just manages to dodge drawing the big threats tiles.
I just liken it to the Ralph Wiggum meme. I'm in danger.
치,
Oh, call from Philip.
It's like Alex is looking more at the Itsu potential than the Sanshoku. Either of them are possible, but you had to break something down there. There's no head in the hand either.
Yeah, looking across the table for the So Itsu, perhaps. Of course, Philip calling for the Itsu. Itadora 1. We'll grab that as
Gee.
well. Tempai now on the 3-mon. Just the door indicator, so a little bit harder to see that come out, but it looks like Josh will have a hard time using it, actually. Unless he draws...
Look at this and like, how can you tell it's Itsu versus a flush? I mean, Itsudora is 2,000 points and people don't care as much, but Hoitsu, I mean, Chini Itsudora is 12,000 points.
Ricci.
Okay, so Ricci here. A few choices on the weight. Goes for the Nobetan, gives up Pinhu. Oh,
Oh,
롱,
guess that's the right
and it
choice.
paid off. There was a couple of tiles in the Pinhu cut, and the weak side of the strong side of the Ariane Man, the 1, so which is more likely to come out was I think half dead. So it's Ricci Patsudora, 5,200.
That's a nice pickup. We'll get you a little bit closer. And actually makes the battle for first place a little bit tighter as we move to all last.
I think if you're Ada in this situation, the priority is to win the hand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, some value would be excellent, but if you win Hakunomi as the dealer, you're over 30k, and you have to worry about the next hand, of course. But
Yeah, has all the blocks
Boom.
here for the Hakunomi. Does grab the Haku. Also pretty nice
Oh.
shapes for Alex as well, but just not the value that he's looking for probably. You could make 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku, perhaps.
Korak has joined us in the chat. Said just call Hatsu and Dora Tanki for so talking about Josh's hand here.
G.
I mean, that does look like a plan.
Does look like a possibility.
Yeah. And we've seen Josh greed the Dora, so I'm sure that's something on his mind.
Ada's hand is a lot faster right now, though. Even though it's not Tenpai yet, it's just 2 Ryamens, so.
What is the cut here? 9-pin, 9-pin? Throw one back. 3-5.
I'm not particularly confident about the 3-5 myself. I might have kept, if I wasn't going to throw the Dora back to just try to. Well, the thing is, the 1,000 points is not enough to win. If you want to try to win, the cut is to just throw the 3-5 and wait Dora Tanki. Keep your pawn 10 open.
G.
Philip making the push for Tanyao. Tenpai for Ada, 5-8.
Tsumo.
And a Tsumo. So there's your Hakunomi.
Gets Ada above 30,000. Now the priority is to stay above 30,000 somehow.
Opens up a...
Easier said than done with this
Boom.
really narrow score line because any sumo on there goes back down below 30k.
Right.
But
Yeah, actually, everyone opening up with reasonable high to finish the hand. Question is, will it be to finish the hand with enough points to do what they want? Of course, Philip across the table could call the West and win anything, and has all the blocks to make this work.
Ada's got 6 blocks right now, so.
Yeah, all the blocks and then some to make it work. Looks like Josh is willing to grab the Otozuke Way for the north. It would just be North Door 1, which I think is enough with a direct hit.
2,000 with the home button direct hit will be enough.
That being off of Philip, of course.
And Ada's got this tricky Dora Kanchan where you can see 2 of the 8s already. Now that does help it a lot. You may have to cut the Dora, but eventually, but at least it expands the options for Tenpai.
Mm-hmm. You could eventually work your way out of this to Tanyao as well in the future. Could even draw a Peiko. Leaving the options open. I'm trying to find a world where Josh can get Chanta out of this.
It's tricky with 5-6. Very hard. Fortunately, neither of those look like they're going to be particularly nasty for deal-ins.
It looks like you'd have to like draw a 3-pin. Could Khan
Shifting.
try to increase the value to something where you could hit anybody? Ooh, there's another
Oh,
door
okay.
draw. So shifts the Manzu shape a little bit higher up the ladder now. Now you can make it Peiko door too.
There you go.
Still 2 3-pin in the wall to be drawn. Oh, finally Tenpai.
Tenpai.
It doesn't even want the Sanshoku.
Style points for the. I threw away the Sanchoku. I was going to say style points for the Sanchoku, but then threw it away.
Would not
Oh,
have mattered
no.
as the one mon comes out, deals in. Unfortunately, that will drop Ada below 30k, but it will give Philip the victory in this Hanchan. So plus 25.4 for Philip. Josh grabs that second place after constructing a beautiful Honitsu hand. Plus 10 there. Ada negative 6.1 and Alex negative 29.3 in fourth. After having making a comeback in the game, unfortunately was the recipient of the, or that, I guess not the recipient, the deal-in for that beautiful Honitsu.
Unfortunately, missed the Daisanga and Tenpai earlier.
Well, that Daisangan would have been so sweet. Let me see if we can get an update on when the next game will start, because I know this table's playing a few.
think I saw the notification that it just started like now, so we've got a couple minutes.
Cool. So exactly 5 minutes from now. Oh, it looks like the standings have updated. So Philip climbs all the way up to third after that. And now in this upcoming match, one of the players will sit out and Alec will sit in. So we will get to see the second seed in this division playing. And it looks like it is Ada sitting out and Alec taking that seat. So let me go ahead and switch that right now. So this will be quite a battle between the number 2 and 3 seeds, as well as Josh, who's in the positives, and Alex, who is trying to climb up. And Steve, I don't know about you, but I've run out of water again, so I'm going to need to step out. Mind if we take a quick little break?
That's fine. Just put it up. Tell me when we're ready.
All right, so we're going to go to a quick break, everybody. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. We are into game number 2 of this B1 match. Looks like Alex will be our first dealer. To the right is Philip, across the table Josh, and to the left Alec. Might
Alex
be
has been kind and made his username Alec.
yes.
Makes it so much easier for us.
It will be would be quite confusing. Well, we will probably still be quite confusing with both Alec and Alex at this table, but we'll do our best to get the names correct. Scanning around the hands here. The tournament's hand looks pretty speedy. Dealer's hand has a lot of pairs. Everyone kind of still a work in progress right now. Two Dora to the right in Philip's hand, and only one across the table, so we'll be Philip might be able to make a Tanya out here. Even 6, 7, 8 Sanchoku is a possibility. Might even see a call of the 6, and there it is.
Yeah, honestly, you're okay with Tanya Odora too, and just you get Sanchoku as a bonus for Mangan, then
Absolutely.
that's great.
It will be a little bit difficult to find the 5 so here, but outside of that, you've got all the shapes you need. Oh, 2.
That's helpful because the 5 so is not necessary for. I mean, this hand could be completed without a 5 so altogether.
Yeah, you can parse that
a 3 so and an 8
as a 2, 4, 6, and then a 6, 7. So Yankun can accept the 3 so as you were saying, and then of course you want the 8 anyway for the Sanchoku chance. Oh, there it is. So this is Ishanten already.
Locking in the Dora pair to call. That's lets you pawn the Dora for 10 pi, which is nice.
Yeah, quite efficient. And we see Josh call the 3 there, so can grab another Dora, although we can see that it's unlikely to come out. There is one left in the wall. Also, I'd grabbed the Haku earlier, so Ishanten there. Oh, this is Tenpai. It's not the Sanchoku you wanted, but you'll take your Tanya Dora too to start the game off.
You could still pawn the Dora here if you don't mind being on a Tonki.
Right, and you don't even need to take the Tonki. You could drop the 6 so right back. But I think perhaps the Tonki might be preferred, because you could swap that around. The 1 Mon is picked up by Josh across the table, and will have a 6-9 weight, and the 9 comes out immediately. So 2 Han here for Josh, who gets off to an early lead.
Is that a double reachy chance? No. Almost. 2 Shanten for Alex at the beginning on the left. Potential for an Itsu. Dealer has a couple Rian men, couple weaker shapes. The Dora is pay, and only 1 is held. On the left, Josh's hand is a work in progress. That's just very, very slow. And then similarly across the way, at least there's a sequence and a block, but it's like, what do you make of that? That's like similar to like when I try to greed for Chinitsu or use the Dora by going for Honitsu. Interesting cut there. I think locking in the pair is more efficient, but there is a 7, 8, 9 Sanchoku possible, but then you have to get rid of something else.
Yeah, you were thinking like the 2 or the 7, sorry.
The 2, yeah, or the 7 pin.
Okay.
Either way. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Sanchoku either. It's
right.
It's block overflow, and you need to make a pair. You really just want to draw another pair, but
well, we see a reach anyway.
Turned really around really fast, didn't it? We've got a that hand was really close to 10 by to begin with.
Yeah.
3, 6. So it's Ishanten as well. 3, 6 so, and 2 are held. All the 3 so's are in the wall.
1 discarded, but yeah, most of them in the wall.
Oh yes, 1 discarded.
It's kind of unfortunate that didn't turn into either Itsu or Sanchoku, but when you have the Tenpai, you throw the stick in. Speaking of throwing the stick in, Philip found the 6 pin and decides this is worth chasing with. Richi Pingfu. Oh, but the Tsumo's bound, so it's just a Richi stick donation. Richi Tsumo Pingfu. Ura! We'll make it 5,200 instead of the cheaper 20 step, and we'll grab the lead away.
Little extra value for your trouble and a stick.
Right. That is one
So
of the
it's-
one of the more frustrating things for me as a player when I throw in a Ricci stick and then someone sumos and it's like, why did I even bother? Just giving away my
Yeah.
points. And then when the
No,
game
this
ends and
hand,
that stick would have made a difference,
we've got
those ones hurt.
what do we got going on here? We've got 4 pairs, excuse me, tune pair. So the most of the pawn here probably. No, interesting.
Yeah, Josh hanging out of his Dora could turn this into a toy toy. Or just stick with pairs.
Yeah, it's definitely like wanting to be Cheetoy and utilizing the Dora. And yeah, it's hard to hold on to that 5 pin now because your options to get the Cheetoy are so much wider when you just keep a variety of tiles.
This hand could still turn into a normal hand, just call the
Yeah,
tune.
you can't call the tune. That was the second one.
Oh,
I was surprised it was passed.
yeah, that was the missing thing.
And this hand here is just flying towards Pinhu. Alex hand? That doesn't
Yeah,
count.
yeah, we'll have to find the hand to the right.
The hand of Alec.
Yes. Yeah, you shot 10 there for Pingu. And yeah, with that second shoot gun, I do quite like the Chitoy attempt instead of what would be just a
I mean, I can
Ricci.
appreciate maybe slightly more than most people trying to hold out for the South.
Oh, right. That is
Or the Cheetoy with the Dora.
right. And we see no one really willing to drop the Dora here. Across the table, there's one being retained by Alex, and then to the left, one in Philip's hand. Philip actually is Chitoy Tempai on the Dora.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, now...
Certainly, if you're going to try to pursue this, you just go shoot and shoot if you're trying to pursue a normal hand. But that... Oh, no, now it's never coming out, is it?
Yeah, Ricci Nomi here for Alex, and Philip not willing to chase just yet.
I'm just like rooting for Philip to reach you that. That's my opinion on it.
I think,
Jeez.
yeah, here it will.
It's there. You just draw it yourself.
One left in the well to draw.
Quick Baimon with Tura.
Gee.
Exactly. Korax said there's no reason to Dama after another Ricci, which is, yeah. It's the Dora, no one's going to toss it. Or if they do toss it, they have a compelling enough reason to toss it, whether you're in Ricci or not, right?
Yeah. And there's your
Sumo.
Tsumo. Does fight an Uda for the 1,000, 2,000. I always want to say 3,900, but doesn't quite work that way on a Tsumo.
This game is speeding right along. It's in East 4 already.
Yeah, this has been quite a fast match.
This Alec has a very weak starting hand here. There's a couple blocks, but so many separate things. The hand on the right inspires almost no more confidence.
Really, none of the
I'm
hands.
gonna shift the attention to the left because that's the best hand at the moment. Still not thrilling, but
No one's got a Yako high pair. What about the door? Does anybody have door? No one yet. There's not a single door out. So yeah, no really exciting hands here. It is interesting from the point of hand construction how Alec is going to play this, but it looks like it's just going to start by discarding all your honors and then seeing what you've got. I guess Alex to the right has the east pair. Right now,
Alec is holding on to the east because it's double east. So we probably won't see it come out until every other terminal tile is exhausted. I don't know whether the one will come out first. One Mon will come out earlier or not. There's potential for a Sanshoku, but I don't really see it being that useful.
With so many other blocks in hand, it seems unlikely. That's another question. Can you draw an upgrade and will you drop the east? I think the answer is yes.
That's an excellent draw. Now, I mean, still have to figure out what to do with that Penchon, but...
And interestingly...
If Superstitious, apart from my owner to be believed, since it's waiting on Sanzo, it should be fine, right?
Right. Oh, well. we might actually see a Sansa wait. And I just want to point out there was no hesitation when that East came out, so I don't think Alex has the call button on.
So chose to lock in the pair there rather than drop the extra 7, but that's perfectly fine for Dora acceptance. Because if you do draw a Dora, then out goes the penchant, and you're just sitting pretty. I should just point out that no player has drawn a Dora yet.
Yeah, we are okay. There you go.
Oh, there
Called
it
it.
is.
I was gonna say we're halfway through. There's the pair swap. I shouldn't say swap. I guess you're kind of locking in the 9 pin, unless you're to draw into the Anko of the 4 or 5.
That's Tenpai. None of the potential weights are good. Chooses the Onso Jigoku Tanki, probably just planning to change the weight to something else.
Yeah, the one unfortunate thing is that you have the potential of Hootie 10 on a lot of your monster draws. Oh, just sumo.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm sure the plan, as you said, was to swap that out, but when you draw it, the final one, the next turn.
Makes you wish you reach it, but
right?
How can you reach that?
Exactly. Oh,
I mean,
goodness.
depends on who you talk to. Some people have no qualms about hitting the button.
Yeah.
But I think if you were going to hit the button, you'd take 3-so, right? The penchant to begin
Right,
with.
right,
You would never
right.
take the Jigoku Tanki.
I was gonna say, like, out of all these weights, 3-so looks just as even better than the other ones. Might as well just go for it.
The 1-so was Jigoku Tanki, the 2-so was 2 left, and the 3-so penchant was 3 left.
Well,
I believe at the time. I didn't check the
I
other
think-
players'
I think
hands,
you
but
might
that's
be
what you
right.
could see.
Right.
That's what you could see. There were 2 1-sos and 1 2-so in the discard.
Yeah, well, we go again, and you'll take any points. We'll see if Philip can, across the table, can make some sort of Sanshoku here.
All right, yeah, back to the hands. We were distracted by that crazy sumo.
I mean, who wouldn't be? That was statistically interesting.
Yeah, if somebody did that, one of my guys would be like, really? Be like, I mean, really?
Fortunately, it didn't.
I guess I'm glad you didn't get a better weight and reach you. Just
Right. It didn't really kill any monster hands, I don't think.
No, well, nobody had any Dora. Like the first Dora was just drawn.
Yeah.
Like, the other 3 were still on the wall.
It's like, oh, no Dora in your hand? Sweet. I didn't have any.
This is interesting. Now, Alec has Dora 2 in hand already. The blocks are all there. Chooses to lock that pair in. Probably with the idea of throwing it if you draw anything next to the 5-mon.
Might
You
not
certainly throw away the Dora pair, but
right. Might not hate the idea of a Dora Shampoo 9-mon 9-so, something like that.
it's really hard. I mean, the edge Dora is a lot harder to use. So, and now when you've got players at the table pushing for
If you
what
could have
might be a fairly obvious Tanyao, you just
if you could have found Tenpai right there, it felt like the 9-so was going to come out.
while it's still in hand.
In a hand that can't really use it either. Of course, Philip, upon
It just
seeing a
keeps
Ricci, might
getting drawn, keeps drawing more things. Like, you would probably perceive the 7-pin as more dangerous. Maybe that's why it came out before the 9.
Mhm.
Now it's coming out, I'm assuming. Yep. That's an interesting draw. You can't really pawn, so it doesn't really increase your efficiency to keep it, but you do have outs to Sananko now.
7s and 5s running a little thin.
Oh, there's a Sananko chance if you wish to take it.
リーチ
Which
Yeah.
I would totally take it. There it goes.
Absolutely. So we can
So
see,
Dora-
only 1 door left in the wall as a weight.
1
Another 6 gets locked away in hand, so Tao's running
Chased by
thin.
2-5, but okay, the 2 is gone. I was going to say they can just con the 2 if they draw it. So only 5-pin is left to deal in, and there's only 1. So it's one tile versus one tile.
The absolute coin flip. And who knows, maybe both are in the dead wall. Oh, it is drawn. That is the door, and that is going to be a painful deal in. Noda, but still 12k for a dealer Mongon hit will skyrocket Alec into first place. Alec, who is hoping to overtake first place in the division from Travis, who I believe this Travis was the one that won a Suanko earlier in the season. And it's looking very strong at top.
See Alex here make a Kokoshi attempt, because that's about all that hand can amount to.
Pon.
Or
Nope, no, Paul Pawn. Okay, looking to force a Honitsu here too.
yeah, when he
Just got to pair up some honors. I mean, could make a Tsuiso too, but I mean, I'm not that big of a dreamer usually.
Yeah, not with these tiles, I don't think. At the very least, it will look a little scary. You do have the door in hand, so it doesn't have to be a Honitsu. No one else at the table looking super scary right now.
Chi.
Yeah, okay. A chi like that almost kind of announces your intent. It's really
Which may just be the goal
quite
here. Get
awkward.
everyone to
And
fold.
I think that's an okay chi. I was trying to think if I would have cheated the other way with the 1 and the 3. But since you have the 6 already, you can accept all the other tiles that would have been left behind anyway. It is one of those hands where if something goes wrong, you can still fold pretty easily despite having a 7-tile hand.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely putting a lot of pressure on Alec, who is unwilling to drop the 2-pin. Well, that's a nice draw for Philip.
Well, the thing about not wanting to drop the 2-pin here is that it was called, the 2-pin was already called with a good block. So it's like, what's left? Like, I don't think I would have as much trouble dropping it.
That's actually a really interesting point. Unless it was another 3-4 shape, you would have expected them to call with a 1-3.
If you called it with the 1-3, then I'd be scared to push it.
Mm-hmm.
But since you called it with 3-4, like, what's left? And I understand kind of why the call was made in that way, but now it's a pair, so it's like you can just drop the 2-so and exactly.
Yeah, this works out quite well for Alec, who would still probably need to push one more pin tile upon reaching an immediate tempai, or perhaps just try to draw around the Pinzu there. Upgrade the 6-8 Kanchan shape. In the meantime, Josh has been looking to make this Ipeko in the Sozu, but has not happened. Still a couple tiles away from Tempai as well.
And we still got a lot of weird, I mean, Alec is the closest, being Ishanten right now, but so everybody's still sitting on 6 blocks or needs to slim a block.
Yeah, still no Pinzu
Otherwise.
overflow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's Tempai.
Reach.
Oh, there we
He's
go.
gonna go for it, and of course that can't even be called because Alex hasn't picked up another Pinzu at all.
And immediately draws the door, which is a hard ask to push right now. Ishanten, though. So it doesn't look the worst. Although it is a Sozu wait. All the ones are dead, and the last 4 so has been drawn.
Well, the 1 might come out, but it's still a kind of a tough to push the door into the dealer from second place. The 1 is Suji. I don't know if Josh would push it, but it's a matter of like sussing out whether you think the player going for the flush is folding.
Mm-hmm.
1
That is a call for Tempai across the table. 3-6.
It is a winnable tenpai too if it
Yeah.
comes out. But it's
Oh!
相撲
Haite!
Well, Taite Tanya Dora.
Wow, what a big pickup for Philip, who grabs the Ricci stick and is actually really close to 30k as we enter South 1. Yeah, it was interesting. Alex saw the 6 came out, 3 so was Suji, felt it was worth pushing. That allowed Philip to call for Tempai, and then ended up getting the last
three
one as
so
well.
just came out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, what I was saying is the 3 so.
Oh, I see what you're
from
saying.
Alec,
Came
not
out.
the 6 so. Like so, it was just flipped.
Oh, okay.
into two
I guess I
pushed
saw someone else drop the 6 then. Oh, the 6 came out earlier, and Josh was the one who dropped it, and then Alec must have dropped the 3.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, Alec
confirmed
dropped the
safe.
3, and then when it was confirmed safe, Alex dropped the 3 from in hand.
Right.
That derailed the Honitsu shot, and then it was called. And kind of the best calls when you can shift yourself the Haite.
Speaking about shifting, Alex now with the ability to make a 5-6-7 Sanshoku now. After drawing that 7 mon. Of course, it's very wide. You could increase your... by doing exactly this, by drawing the 4-pin, you could increase your tile acceptance and retain the Sanshoku chance. Holding both the 4 mon and the 7 mon.
Yeah, the only thing you missed out on dropping the 5 so earlier is the Sun Menchan, but that's... I like the value. I mean, there's the Sun Menchan fill, but you just throw it back here. And you also, I guess, would have had to drop a Dora. I did not look at what the Dora was, so I'm far more fine with this development now that I've looked at the whole board. It's harder than you think to look at 4 hands, analyze them before you get past the end of the first row, and know what the Dora is and the score line.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for those commentators who do the M League stuff, or who have to do it at the speed they play.
Absolutely. It's so fun to watch, though. They do such a good job. And we see a Ricci to the left from Alec. Ricci, Dora 1, potentially Tanya as well, if you can win on the 4-pin. And unfortunately for Alex, there is a 1-pin in hand in this extremely expensive hand. Should it find Tempai, but is not willing to fight directly. We'll hope to draw back into Tempai in the future.
I mean, most of Sozu just looks awful. I mean, Sozu Pinzu just look awful here.
And unfortunately has been drawing a lot of those Pinzu tiles. Speaking of Pinzu, Josh has been drawing quite a few himself.
1
Alex will really need to draw the last 1-pin.
And even to win the hand for Sanshoku, the 6-pin is all but gone.
Only
Josh
one.
has 3 of them.
And also the last 1-pin is the only tile remaining for Alec in the wall. So tile's definitely running thin here.
It's not Tenpai, I don't think, but it's pretty wide if you chose to push the 3 so, but 3 so doesn't look great. Supposed to look a lot cheaper on this board, but
Perhaps it was if it was Tempai, then might be willing to push it, but not for just Ishanten with a few number of draws remaining. So find Ryukyoku. The hand will not win, but Alec will still pick up a net 2,000 for the troubles, 1 stick in the middle, and a Hobla as we move into South to Phillips dealership.
you're already feeling pretty good looking at this if you're Philip. You pair Chun and the Dora. And the other shapes aren't half bad either.
Yep, 2,900 plus 13. 42 is plenty. We'll move you up into second place.
ポン
Round of the table. Josh has 2 pairs, 2 Rion men. So looking a little slow, especially within light of Philip's draws. Alec has Rion men, Rion Khan shapes, just pretty good shapes. No set head yet, so that's kind of the big thing. There's a Dora that can definitely go into the hand, and Alex has shapes that aren't bad either. So I'm assuming somebody will be in Tenpai pretty soon.
Yep, here we see it. 7 Mon Tenpai for Philip. Had chosen to retain that 4 pin in the hopes of perhaps drawing towards the Sanshoku or a better shape, but ended up finding the Tenpai first. Unfortunately, not a very strong Tenpai.
It's one that's really hard to upgrade. I mean, you're not going to be sad at all if you draw another Dora, for sure. So the weight doesn't change, but the value certainly has helped.
You're almost hoping, if you don't draw the Dora, to pair really anything else up in the 8 or 9, or even call the 7, so... Oh, that's a great draw for Alex. Pulls in the Dora, completes the Manzu shape.
Chooses to get rid of the Kanchan block in favor of keeping all the really nice upgrades you can get in Pinzu. It's not really the pair you want to upgrade anything. It doesn't help.
No.
Why is that delaying? Oh,
Pawn.
Alec deciding whether to pawn. Okay. Oh, here we go. Push for Tanya. Cuts the Dora. Interesting.
Just going ahead and locking that pair in.
I'd say that's pretty bold against an open anything.
Right. I'm sure that you get that, oh no, Dora backfire. You get that momentary delay and you're thinking, no, is it a roan? And then the delay extends a little bit longer. It's like, okay, someone's thinking about calling, but I'm not dealing in here.
Everyone's destroying the same tiles over and over again now.
That's a slight upgrade.
That's a sap. That helps. Definitely probably not feeling good about that, cutting that Dora before cutting the 3. You can call it locking in your pair, but if you draw like even if you drew a 4 after cutting the 3, keeping the Dora, you'd be like, oh, I'm feeling this because I can keep the Dora, right? So,
Yeah. Perhaps just thinking, this is likely to be my pair, so I want to get rid of this before I have to drop it later. But
usually, I mean, I was thinking back to my own games. Usually, the time when I'm playing full efficiency and I'm throwing the Dora is when I can still reach E. Like I'm still closed. Is that is Tenpai? Is it not? Yes, it is. But Dama.
Champon right now, 5 pin 3, so has Ipeco upgrades.
Yeah, the Ipeco upgrade with the 6 of those Simmel. So the Ipeco upgrade with 6 pin would turn into a 5/8 pin 3 so like triple Shavo.
In the end, it was a sumo after an entire row plus. Philip does finally find the 7 Mon.
Lovely first draw for Philip.
What was the first draw? I missed it.
The 8 Mon.
Oh, beautiful. The rest of the hand still could use more draws like that.
Yes. There is a Rion Men, but you got Penchan, which is just not what you want to start out. I feel like that's how most like Jun-chans are made, though, is by like a bunch of Penchans getting lucky.
June paired to the right. No door in hand.
There's another Penchan, Phil. We just need one more for Pinpu. Whereas 3 Mon is very, very bad. Is very unlikely to be drawn. There's only 1.
Well,
that's
0.
Are we going to see the Ricci?
There are 0 3 Mon left. They're all in the hand across.
Oh, and that's 4 of them.
Yeah, it's so tiny.
I thought the one on the end was a 2.
So when you said very unlikely to be drawn, you were 100% correct.
Totally unlikely. It will not be drawn. I thought it was 1-2 and then 3-3s, not 4-3s in a row.
Yeah,
The
dropping
perspective does make it hard, a little bit hard to see.
the Hatsu pair implies Alec wants nothing to do with the sandwich, means Philip will never win. So,
I mean, unless there's some reason Alec is able to wander around, but you're more like if you want to be that brave, you're more likely to just con. I mean, unless you cut from it and hopes to get 4 turns of safety.
yeah, that is a good point. It is Suji
And
now.
that feels really bad when you
Yeah.
cut it for 4 turns of safety and you deal in.
Sixth Mon was the door, and that ended up getting discarded right after the Riichi.
See, now I don't think it's. I think it might be conned now at this point, depending on how they want to push.
Yeah, you've got the 8-so, which is Suji.
You don't even really need to con it though. It's because you could cut the 6 because it's Genbutsu and then treat it as 2 blocks with the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, con? Not yet. Oh, we might see a con.
You can con into Tenpai here.
Yes, you can, or you can draw into Tenpai then just con. I think it's unbelievable that you've even gotten this close. This has worked out like this. It's crazy draws.
No.
Obviously wants to push a little bit because the tune is totally Shonpai.
Oh, Josh makes the call.
That's one chance.
In fourth place.
Tenpai.
All right, let's see.
Now it's 2-sided weight. It's 2-3 weight.
You could drop the Genbutsu 6. You could drop
Riichi.
Suji. Oh,
We're gonna Riichi drop the 6. Okay.
who doesn't know it, but definitely the only player that can win between the two.
Yep. No, they are. Yep. That could be. That's not a call for Tenpai yet. That's not a con at this point. I guess the second Riichi. There's too much going on. It's too rapid fire. That's Ishan 10 now. Is anything really pushable though? No.
Ron.
That's the wrong.
And then it's revealed all your winning tiles in hand.
Emotional damage across the table.
Alec probably wondering, man, I should have just dropped the 3. I would have had a Dora. Nope, you played it right.
Do wonder what the Rinchon tile was.
And the new Dora.
Yeah.
All right, Josh. South 3 is your last dealership. What do you got? Yeah, Tanyo?
Depends on what comes in. You got not a Pinpu without resolving this Penchan or the Shabo.
But if you draw the 3 pin, then you can immediately switch to Pinpu.
Cut a pair, yep, exactly.
Unless that happens, it's unlikely that
if
you're
you
gonna
draw
move that
into one of
direction.
the pairs, you should probably just cut the 1-2 pin and bank on the outside chance of getting Tanyao. I mean, you still require the 4 Mon and then drawing the right part of the Sun Menchan. But the 9th so part of that is actually very dead right now. There's only one left.
Okay,
Oh, there's the
now do you move towards Tanyo?
That's where they're going. Okay, that's going to be probably a pawn for the Honitsu.
Pon.
Yeah, Chun call to the right. Alec definitely making play. Well, or maybe not definitely playing Honitsu.
Oh, going Atozuke.
Yeah,
Maybe
interesting.
not worried about it because there's only one 9 so left.
Will we see a Tonki?
Chi.
Yes, all right. Honitsu.
Korak saying in the chat that the 8 pin makes him sad. Well, I think I probably would have waited a couple turns to see if I could reach Chi somehow as well. It's so fast, but now you're dealing with Hidaka Tanki nonsense too. So.
Oh no, that's Dora.
I was gonna say the tone is. Oh,
he just throws it. Who cares about this Honitsu?
Oh my god.
Oh, so now Alec knows this is Tenpai because you're never dropping that unless you've got something to fight for. That is gutsy.
Too scared to throw that. I'm like, nope.
Absolutely.
We done. But now you got that. It's like, how do you
I mean, you
jam
drew
the
Dora.
tone, you may as well jam that.
Right?
I mean,
Although you could make Tanya with that, so
why? I don't understand anymore. I'm very confused.
ポン
Gee.
oh, didn't
we
get the
can't cheat.
chance.
And there are no 6 pins left, as Philip has all of them.
Switch. Do you read that Philip's got the 6s?
1
Philip also has a 5.
At least there'd be one left.
Yeah, this is just very awkward.
And then Alex across the table just doing anything
Like Otozuke, it's Otozuke for
Ishanten.
well, yeah. I mean, I don't even know what's going on.
Oh,
It
it would have been the 5.
No. But the 5 got cheated.
Oh, that's
so
true. It would have
wouldn't
been
mattered.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been able to be called. All right. Do you want to drop more Pinsu tiles? Answer is no.
I think the question is, it's like, oh, you threw the tone, but it passed. Like, now what could it possibly be anymore? So it's like anything is scary after that, right?
Right.
But it's like the tone didn't deal in, then I mean, at this point, if I drew another tone, I would have been watching that wait like a hawk to see if it changed. Oh,
Oh, speaking of which,
I should just keep my mouth shut. You gotta. Oh no, I would have totally changed.
I think so. Yeah, because look, the first tone came out, and there were no discards of that afterwards. You'd think that the other players would be like insta discarding the door if they drew it.
Oh no!
Oh. I don't think Josh would have pushed that one though. The second after seeing the switch.
3-pin Hadaka Tanki.
Suji trap. It's all about the Suji trap here.
It's a 3-pin Hadaka Tanki.
It still works. Trust me.
I have problems with 3-pin Hadaka Tanki. If Max is in the chat, he knows.
Okay. It's also Chico Katanki. Oh, he can't see the 3-pin across the way, but there's only one left. I guess that's better than the 2 6s. Yeah, for some reason I thought that 3 was
Josh
visible.
hasn't even gotten back into Tenpai yet, so it's like there are a lot of things to call here, but now it's Tenpai.
Technically 1
Definitely really didn't like this 4-pin at all. If that was the high tape, that would have been hilarious, but it's not.
It does not.
Oh, no, they're both waiting. Now it's like vindication if you weren't watching, but
So Josh will know that it was not the right call to hang on to that 4 because that was just switched into, but
if you're paying attention to that,
right.
It's like I don't know how much attention you pay to it on the very last turn, like before the screen gets in the way and everything, right?
Well, all of that
because you're playing and watching, and it's like the score screen pops up, and it's like, did you notice that was Tadashi Utsumogiri on the last tile? It's like hard to say.
That is a good point. Yeah, and all that for 1,000 points to Alec, Josh, and Philip, and it was Alex across the table who had to pay it out.
That was wild.
It was certainly amusing.
I'm sure Max is not in the chat because he would have said something at this point because he was talking earlier, but he roamed me on a 3-pin Hadaka Tanki when I was in Tenpai for Churen, and I still haven't forgiven him for it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we would have heard that story from Max for sure. Thinking about calling momentarily, but decides, let's just play it straight. The hand across looks like it's got some potential. Now it really looks like it's got potential. Technically, Shantan.
I must say this game is a lot higher energy, I would say. The other one. It's not that they were boring, but there's just a lot more interesting things going on with this set of players.
Yes, very interesting maneuvering happening. Ooh, that too is an upgrade. So now it's a very wide Ishan 10 for point. That being Alex across the table.
And I think at this point you want to just grab, if you're Philip or Alex, you just want to grab any hand and get above 30K again.
Yes.
Especially because neither of you two are the dealer going into all last.
Right, and we're in South 3. It's so close to the end. Ooh, that is a sweet pickup.
It's not 10 pi yet, 'cause we're still 6 blocks. So
Yeah,
that's
so
the way
many
to get rid of 1-1. Yeah.
1
1-1 is a little bit tricky because you have to commit to getting rid of the you have to really commit to getting rid of 6 pin, save a pair, unless you pick up something else. You have Ricci, Sanmencha, 147 so from Alex.
Yeah, reach Pinfu. 7 in the wall. Josh thinking and deciding that this is so hard to push forward. Starts with a safe tile. Yeah, this is really unfortunate for Josh, who you need to win something, and then this early Ricci when your hand is so far away. I guess you have cheat toy outs, but no, just playing it safe.
Yeah, I wouldn't even
Sumo.
call it Sumo. I said I wouldn't even call turn 7 Ricci that early, but it's totally value added with a weight like that at that point. I mean, you'd take lesser weights depending on the value, but there's no Dora there. But Pin Hunomi, Wadasan Menchan is pretty good. You hope for an Uradora, didn't happen, but still, that puts Alex over 30K, very important. And there's a double south in Alex's hand for this one, so
A bit of a high
has a chance
pressure.
here. Alex has a chance here to round this out and stay in second. It's pretty hard to take first right now with the gap as big as it is. You can Haneman Sumo.
This actually, just looking at these high pie, unless Alex wins, which seems pretty reasonable given the high pie, an opportunity for Alex to run up the score a bit. Has a single Dora Hatsu in hand. Also, Alex with one of those as well. So,
and we notice Alex getting rid of a block as opposed to dropping the Hatsu.
Oh yeah, the 7-5 shape being discarded.
This is a little bit of greed here. If you can make up a bigger hand, I mean, something like a Mangan direct hit or Haneman Sumo would be enough to overtake first.
Has 4 pairs, but calls the south, and now you drop it if you're playing efficiently. Instead, plays a little bit greedily.
Could shift to Toy as well, even if you don't get it. That'd still be the Mangan.
Looking to pair something else up to make that shift. I think I personally would be content to just claim my second place and the positive victory instead of, say, dropping an entire block to try to retain the Dora. Oh, now that's interesting. Dora paired up to the left. So Josh, trying to make a go at things. Technically Ishan 10 as well.
Expect to see some fireworks when Alex finally takes a 10 pi because the Hatsu is going to come out. Unless they just decide to stop.
Josh here valuing the 7 Mon, hoping perhaps for a 5-6-7 Sanshoku. Alec drawing closer and closer to Tenpai.
Let's see, Khan. Yep. Oh, Dora 2.
All right, so now you don't need the Huts anymore.
Still holding on to it because the 9-so is not really that helpful.
Right. Now 5-6-7, very real for Josh. Is moving that direction with the 4-so and then a 7-so cut. Ishan 10 for Alec. Not the 2-3-4 Sanchoku, but maybe 3-4-5. And there's the Hatsu.
Oh, there's the Hatsu. So we're going to see opponent for 10 pi, 6 mon, which is 1 left.
So Alec can afford to deal into Mongon and still retain first place here, given that Mongon is to the left. But you'd prefer not to lose any points you don't have to.
feel like if you're Alex here, it's really awkward because the sumo will dunk you back below 30.
Ooh, Tempai across the table. Although this is not a Yaku.
It's Yako-less unless they get the 9.
Well,
Oh, well,
there's the
but
9,
6 goes
but
in. Oh, okay, so
4
so that does make things tight. However,
that is enough to steal.
just
No,
short.
it's not. Just short.
Yeah, so Josh will at least make up some ground. It would have been a negative 33.8, but now it's only a 25. So a nice pickup for Josh at the very end there. Alex stays above 30K, plus 6.4.
You're
And
probably very happy to draw that 9, and then
yeah,
I'm
and
just
then
I'm just reading the chat. 'Cause, oh, they need the 9. I'm like, oh wait, I didn't realize. Yeah, they're really
exactly. But you're making the play to make it over 30K, and you just needed to win that hand. Unfortunately, did not.
dealing. I mean, since you didn't really have a placement drop,
Right.
it isn't worth the risk, most likely.
Yeah, in this case, it's just, minus 8 points, but you could have been picking up a few, so
Basically, an extra 7 or so.
Yeah.
It's either way.
and it's Alec who's the big winner in this game, plus 33.6. Very nice game from Alec, and so the standings will advance. They'll start to even out a little bit as these players balance out their game totals. And
Interesting point from Korak is that by running Philip, it keeps Philip below 30. So you're not taking that minus 20 alone.
yeah, it's actually pretty big.
I don't normally think about that angle, but yes, that's a good point.
Pretty big for Josh to make sure at least one person was below. Now, Philip was already below 30K, so he needed at least one of Philip or Alex to stay below. So the big problem would have been if Philip had won the hand, and then being the only person below 30K, you lose an extra 5 points due to the floating Uma. You lose 20 instead of
like
15.
The dealer with Baimon Sumo, basically. It's like you're losing that much extra.
Right. So that was a very positive finish for Josh, despite, finishing 4th. Did exactly what he needed to do there. And I had thought they might be playing a 3rd game tonight, but I haven't seen it pop up.
No, I haven't seen anything. That could be it for now.
All right, well, this is the last group of the evening, so if they are playing another match, perhaps we'll see it in the ARML chat. But I think as far as Twitch broadcasted matches go, that will be it for us. Any final thoughts, Steve, about the matches tonight, or anything in general?
Nothing too much. I mean, we saw a lot of interesting plays and maneuvering in that last game, in the last couple games, between just greed turning into some really exciting tenpais. Not all of them came through, but especially a bummer to see Alex lose that Daisongan.
Yeah, I think that Daisongan was one of the highlights of the night.
We were saying like nobody's going to throw the tune, but also Ada's sitting there in Ricci.
Right,
so
right.
Ada's going to throw the tune.
There were 2 drawing pools there for Alex, and unfortunately, it did not come to fruition. But it was certainly thrilling to watch. Now, we were rooting so hard because didn't have to take the Daisongan Tenpai, or attempt was Tenpai for the Shosangan, and chose the greedy option.
Was already tenpai, but got a pair in one of the sequences before getting the second dragon to come out, and went the greedy route. And like I said, the scoreline was flat. It was still an east. Like I see no problem with dreaming. I said I'm not that big of a dreamer, but I feel like I may have done the same thing there.
Yeah, I was trying to decide whether or not I would have pushed it. I think I would have gone for the Daisongan as well. I really like the value play. So, yeah, really unfortunate to see that one didn't win, but thank you, Alex, for making the play. It certainly was fun to watch. And for everyone else who's watching, we're going to wrap things up. But if you'd like to go back and watch that play as soon as this broadcast ends, the VOD will be available, and you can watch that on our Twitch page. Also, in the future, this VOD, just like all the other VODs before, will be uploaded onto our YouTube page, tinyurl.com/ARMLYT. You can follow us on Twitter. You can, of course, visit our website, AmericanReach.org, if you're interested in signing up for the fall season, as signups are open until the 19th of September. So please do visit that website for all the information there. And with that being said, I think that's it for us in the broadcast. Thanks, Steve, again for the commentary. It was insightful as always. And this is Nathaniel signing out for the American Ricci Mahjong League.
Thanks all. Have a good night.